Welcome back to leg 4 of the Event Rider Masters here at Jardy Dressage Day, and we are halfway through the field. 20 combinations have gone, 20 more still to go. We come back after the lunch break. I'm joined in studio by Echo Ratings Byrne and our international dressage judge who will be joining us for the next session of dressage, Jardy Binder, who will be giving us her expert opinion on all of the action. But down there by the collecting ring, let's go and say a very good afternoon to John Kyle.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, the sun remains hot out here, as indeed, as you suggest, is the sport. We've got 20 more to come, including several from inside the world's top 10. And as we heard from Michel Asseret earlier on, amongst those 14 French riders here on home soil, they're under observation, ready for selection for the European Championships, and that list will be out on Monday. So there's so much at play here as we go through the weekend at this Event Rider Masters leg from Jardy.
Well, let's take a look at the leaderboard after the first 2 sessions of dressage. And the SAP Spectator Judging app, well, that allows you to get involved. We'll take a look at that leaderboard in just a moment. But the 11th through to 20th as they stand, the sad news that Matelote de Grandval, Jean Teller's huge 4-star campaigner, was unfortunately retired in the dressage. Didn't seem quite right after a discussion with the ground jury deciding to call it a day. But some good tests there. Meryl Blom with her very talented 8-year-old, the Quizmaster. Lots to come from that combination in the jumping. And we'll take a look at the top 10. Gwendolyn Fur and Tro Prinz won here 12 months ago. They're our dressage leader, 41.4. That's the score out in front at the moment, ahead of Malin Josephson for Sweden, making her Event Rider Masters debut, 42.8. But there were some very good French tests on home soil, as we would perhaps expect. And it is a young French lady who leads the way at the lunch break. Well, I have to say, we've had a brilliant morning of dressage. Thank you both very much for joining us. Echo ratings have been on point so far.
Yeah, everything's played out so far. I think this is the point that we're going to get interesting. I think one of the things that's going to be fascinating to talk to Anna about is we've probably been 3-4 marks ahead of the expected score. And that isn't necessarily a problem because we have been very consistent in that. What it does mean is that we've arrived down at a score of, you know, we're in the low 40s already. Now, 1% of people here, Anna, have scored in the 30s at Jardy over the last 7 seasons. So it's not a place that sees 30s tests regularly. What I would be suggesting is we're about to see plenty of 30s tests this afternoon if the scoring stays on the same trend as we have had it.
Well, we have some top-class combinations coming forward. Jardy Binder, you are an international judge. You judge this kind of competition all the time. What have been your thoughts on the dressage so far this morning?
Well, I've been lucky to see the first group in the morning, and the first impression is that we are dealing with what we expected, some very experienced riders on their absolute top horses. There has been highlights. There has also been some struggling here and there, which is quite normal, and what even makes the dressage part of the judging in eventing even more, fascinating.
And there's a real atmosphere, isn't there? The facilities here at Jardy are amazing. It's a gorgeous day, really sunny, really hot. The crowds are building. They're all on the orangery around the outside of the arena. It's just the most stunning setting.
It is, and that's also for officials judging, being a part of the event from that side. Absolutely a plus for everyone.
Well, we have got lots to look forward to this afternoon. And from an Echo ratings perspective, I know there's one horse there's one horse that we're really looking forward to seeing, and that is the horse that could possibly break into sub 30.
5 p.m, Nicole, 5 p.m. Senior Medicat about to change all the Event Rider Masters records. How long is the Upsilon record going to last? 30.8 last week at Barbary. I think it's going to come under huge pressure from Senior Medicat and Bettina Hoy this afternoon.
Well, we can't wait to see. But next to go is Elmo Jankari for Finland. Elmo coming forward with Duchess Desiree. And Elmo actually has very fond memories here at Jardy because he rode here in the Young Rider European Championships back in 2013 and actually took individual gold on this very horse. So he knows the venue very well, the horse knows the venue very well, and Christina Klingsborg, who's in with us this morning, pointed this combination out as one to keep an eye on that could spring a surprise. They've started very well.
And we see Elmo starting off his test in a very, very nice way, and also just confirms the idea and expectations of Kiki, my good colleague. We saw a medium trot, and now we have the difficult half passes, first to the left and then to the right. As a judge, maybe if you could say something, it would like to have a little more activity, but the form is very good.
Well, the first combination that we've seen to be trending in the 30s. This could be our first test to go sub 40. Still a long way to go, though. We saw at Barbary just last week the scores certainly changed, but things going very well to plan, I would say, so far.
Yes, and a wonderful medium trot with a really nice transition. This is actually what we're really looking for, not only the medium trot, but also the transition back to collected.
So Elmo Jankari making his Event Rider Masters debut with Duchess Desiree.
Here the extended trot, where we would like to see slightly more activity and lengthening of the strides compared to the medium, but also that was very well done, very well performed.
Lots of 8s coming in. There's been consistency amongst the ground jury all morning, but lots of good marks. They're rewarding what they like.
They're rewarding what they like, and that is absolutely what we're aiming for. And the difficult walk pirouette gets a little bit big, but absolutely within the green light.
Well, a huge test that we're seeing here. Certainly the highest trending score that we've seen so far in the Event Rider Masters here at Jardy. Last time out, CCI 3-star at Stragon, 44.8. Before that, CCI 3-star at Barocca d'Alva, 50.1. At the Olympics last year at Rio de Janeiro, 48. And then at CCI 3-star at Wiesbaden, where we had an Event Rider Masters like this year. Last year, Elmo at Wiesbaden was 41. So certainly anywhere that they're trending now, we're getting very close to personal best territory. This is, you know, their personal best, Nicole, is 39.3. That came at Harass Japan, so they're trending below their personal best. This is a big test so far for this pair.
And they've just started off on the canter part of their test. And we begin with this difficult serpentines with 2 loops. We have a mark for the serpentine, that's the accuracy and the true canter rhythm and balance, and then we have an extra mark for the counter canter. And here the change, which was not so successful, unfortunately, tension and mistakes, so that will cost him quite a lot with 3 judges.
And you see those 4s across the board. That change has been expensive. It's the first time they've moved out of the 30s in terms of their trending score. They remain in the lead on that trending score, but a costly flying change, and they have another one to come.
And these are relatively new tests still, and this part, I would say, is one of the most difficult. The serpentine, 2 loops, counter canter in that, and then the change on the short diagonals relatively short after. This is really a challenge for the horses and riders. And late behind, unfortunately, struggling with the second change that can cost him also in the collective marks.
Well, we'd 4s across the board for the first flying change. We've 5-5-4 for the second. It brought it from the 30s to the low 40s the first time. It's actually brought it to 43 at the moment, extended canter, and then into a final hold.
Yes, I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed. He knows that this might not have been what he expected for, but there were certainly highlights from this combination in the trot work, and we know that that is where they always are very, very strong.
Well, that average penalty score around 42.7 as things stand at the moment towards the end of his test, but Elmo Jankari, excellent test for him for Finland. He's not going to quite challenge the lead of Gwendolyn Furr as she's out in front, 41.4. That would, though, be, Anna-Mette, dependent on the collectives.
Exactly, and this is when it gets interesting to see how much my colleagues will deduct in the mark for submission.
What would you expect? The score to go up or down?
I think maybe up, because this horse has some great qualities in the paces. Impulsion is also very good, and the rider is doing a good job. But let's wait and see.
Wait and see. Is it hard watching other people judge?
No, it's so interesting. And when possible, which is unfortunately not a lot, I love to go and sit in and be a part of it, listen to what kind of words they use to explain to the riders why they're giving the mark they're giving. So I don't find it hard. I find it really exciting, and you fever a little bit with them in that. So here we go.
42.1 into second for Elmo Jankari and Duchess Desiree. Very good test from Elmo, trending in the 30s for a lot of his trot work, but unfortunately just a couple of costly mistakes in the canter means they go into second. Well, don't forget that you can get involved. You can be a judge for the day. Download the free SAP Spectator Judging app. You can get it in the App Store and in Google Play as well. Go and download it. You can judge along with all of our judges, and you can mark each of the combinations. Who would you have in the lead? Well, let us know. Get involved in the judging app, and we'll be looking at your leaderboards a little bit later on. Well, now to go another for the home nation. And it is a combination for France, Mathieu Van Allanum and Troublefet.
Well, a former winner here. Yeah, we have last year's winner leading, Gwendolyn Fair, but Matthew was the winner the year before. So
different horse.
Different horse, but France will be hoping to deliver again.
Yeah.
I think a key one here is that Trouble has not hugely experienced at the level, so only 2 CIC 3-stars, only a 10-year-old. At the moment, they're averaging a 42.7 from those 2 runs at this level. Looking at the recent form, which includes the CCI at Saumur, it was 49.2. The CIC 3-star at Le Pouget and at Houghton Hall, 45 and 40.4. So a pair that are certainly familiar with the low 40s, and that's where they've started in their early work.
Yes, and they've started off very well, fluent in the trot work, maybe losing some rhythm and self-carriage in the second half pass. Now the second shoulder in, slightly abrupted. And a medium trot where you would like to see a little more lengthening of the strides. On the other hand, if this is what the horse can offer on the day, it's very clever from the rider not to push him even more, and there has to be more in the tank for the extended trot as well. Here we see the extended trot back into the transition, which has its mark of its own, and into the walk. Very nice transition into the walk. We could wish for maybe a clearer rhythm, but nice in the contact.
For new viewers, Anna, what do we mean with like a clearer rhythm? You know, talk us through from a point of view of someone who's tuning in for the first time.
Well, we have in the walk, we have to see a clear 4-beat rhythm, and you have to see a V between front and back leg, and if you don't see that V, you could maybe compare it that if it's not in the right rhythm, it will be a little bit like camels walking.
Okay.
And that is not that is quite completely the difference between the walk that we want to see with the horses and the walk you see with the camels.
Okay.
That
exactly.
explains it a little bit. Yep. Collecting before the second half pirouette. And maybe here you can tell this is not the strongest pace for this horse, but it's obedient. And unfortunately it has a nice start into the pirouette, but again the rhythm of the walk is disturbed, so that could cost him a little bit. But still it is well marked. They're still positive, and I could imagine that has to do with the contact and the obedience of the horse also. So, serpentine, counter loop, finishes the serpentine, change, very nice change, relaxed. Maybe you could wish for a little more jump and activity, but it looked very straight and was very obedient. So that should certainly also give him a nice mark, I would say, yes.
It's 7.5, 7.5, and that takes it into the 42.5 area. We have another change to come.
Get this next change, and the final extended canter is not going to be a million miles off our leader.
No.
Of Gwendolyn Furr, 41.4. That's the score to beat.
And this is a good example, as I see it, of a rider really riding the best out of a horse that maybe is not so talented in this discipline from nature, but it works with him. It's supple, it's positive riding, and he really gets all the best out of this really nice horse.
Well, it's a very good spot, because on the cross country they've been 2 from 2 jumping clear. They've been inside the time on one occasion and they've jumped clear twice. So this horse's strengths come in the second phases, so it's a very good spot. Has he done enough? He looks like he's about to go into the lead, and I think this is going to be a rider who can be very pleased with what he's done today.
Fantastic performance. That is what we like to see.
Well, Trouble completes his test under Mathieu van Lanahan, and some very good scores coming in. Plenty of 8s, just a 6 for that final halt. 41.4, he's trending at the moment. I believe with the collectives, we will see a new leader. Would you agree?
I would agree, and there was a consistency throughout the whole test. It wouldn't say that, oh, the trot work was best, the canter work was the best. It was just very nice to watch and judge, I'm sure.
Well, talent shining through, because the 2015 winner is going to take over from a 2016 winner. The pair of them have come under pressure from an Event Rider Masters field where the best talent in the world has come up to challenge them. But certainly I think both of them in the first phase can feel like they have done their bit to lay down their marker.
So let's just wait for this score to come in for Mathieu. We think it's going to be the new leader. And it is into the lead for France, 40.6. Trouble takes over at the top of the leaderboard. Excellent test from Mathieu, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. But Elmo Jankari, he did his test, 42.1 for the former European Young Rider champion, and he's talking to John.
Yes, Nicole, here with Elmo Jankari, and you're returning to the scene of one of your biggest career victories with this horse, Jardy. What's it like to be back for the Masters?
Yeah, it's absolutely great when you're here, and very, very well organized always, and I'm happy to come back, and yeah, it seems to start again quite all right.
Your dressage, tell us, how do you feel about this score? Second on 42, but is it enough?
Yeah, I would say the trot was quite good, and on the level we can do. Walk was fine. In the canter I had 2 big mistakes with the flying changes. They've always been a little bit difficult with that horse, but we got like much further in the trainings, and I was quite disappointed I couldn't get it there today, but we keep on doing and hope gonna be better than in the Europeans.
Exactly, and 2 more important tests tomorrow to take you to hopefully the podium.
Yeah, of course we hope, but we will see. There will be also, of course, right now much more good riders coming, and I can just try my best until the end, and then we have a look.
Great stuff, Elmo. Congratulations on today. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we had a French leader at the lunch break. That was Gwendolyn Furr. We now have a new French leader with Mathieu van Lanahan, and we could be about to see another French leader. We knew the French were going to be very, very strong on home soil. This is a big one for the home country. Maxime Livio with the Picador, the horse that he's ridden in a couple of Event Rider Masters legs before. And Maxime himself in some incredible form at the moment. Took his 4-star debut victory last year. That was at Pau with the Calao de Mer. Also finished second at Le Moulin and second again in Kentucky. So he's a man full of confidence, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do. What do WEC ratings think, Dan?
Well, their personal best, 40.6. That's exactly what they have to hit if they want to match the current leader. And where did that 40.6 came? It came at Jardy. So they've been here before. It's 2014 when they scored that particular score. Looking at the recent form, 42, that was at the level below. Then we had Buccolo, that was at Show Montevexin. We had Buccolo 46, we had Gacum 47, and if you go back to Bramham late last year, 40.8.
Early thoughts on this test?
Early thoughts that this rider seems to be riding a safe test. He's not taking chances. Maybe you would like to see a little more expression in the medium trot, extended trot. But on the other hand, if he really goes for keeping safe and know what he has to do and what he can do, that is also perfectly in order.
And this
collected walk into the pirouette, some resistance, some tension, losing the rhythm, and could be a little more uphill, but now going into the extended walk. Extended walk, where we'd like to see the horse stretch forward, be active, cover ground, and this famous V. So it's very obvious that the horse is in the right rhythm. And now back to medium walk into collected walk. We would also maybe like to see the horse a little more uphill, leaning a little bit on the shoulder and thinking this is a little bit hard work. Some tension again, unfortunately, but actually not too bad into the pirouette. But the tension before and the struggling with the contact might cost him a few points, yes, unfortunately. But now canter, the horse seems to be a little more settled with that, or happy, more confident and relaxed. Self-carry is very nice, balance very good. Still riding a slightly more active forward would be nice. Whoopsie. Yeah, I think that would be a point below 5 again, unfortunately.
A point below 5. It's such a nice way of doing it. It's all the little tricks you pick up. There you go.
And then from the B point, it can be difficult to see actually if the change was clear or not. But my B colleague has seen that there was some tension, etc.
Trending score just going up slightly, 48.7. He actually scored 40.8 at Bramham on his Event Rider Masters debut last year, finished 6th then. Going to be a little bit below that. He just needs to get through this final flying change.
Well done. Very nice. Spot on. Seemed to be very straight and very obedient and jumping through. So that can help him in the right direction. 8 from all 3 colleagues. That's very good.
Picador's average from 5 runs at CIC 3-star level is 44. So they're a little bit ahead of that at the moment. It's going to be very difficult. It's impossible really for them at this stage to bring it back to their average. It's a test that won't have been their best test. It's a little bit off that, but still a lot to come from this pair when you look at their cross-country jumping, particularly their cross-country speed. And if time penalties play a role this weekend, Picador is one that we should all be keeping a very, very close eye on.
So Maxime Livio and Picador for owner Francois Riemer. They complete their test trending around the mid-40s, so we'll go inside the top 10, I would think.
Absolutely. That would be well-deserved.
What would be, as a judge, what would be the thoughts that you would take back to the rider on that occasion? You get the opportunity to send some comments back to them?
Actually, we don't, apart from the sheet that we have with the marks, but a lot of riders, and it seems to be increasingly, are interested to know more. So that now and again they come and ask.
44.8, not far off their average after all. Into 8th as things stand at the moment. So Maxime Livio into 8th, but let's go down to John Kyle.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm with Mathieu Van Lanningen. Mathieu, a rider at the Cadre Noir. You are our leader at the moment. Tell us a little bit about how you feel your dressage went.
Yes, Trouble Fête was good today. It was a good feeling. So I try to be careful with the paces and the regularity of the paces, because sometimes I have some irregularity, and then and the balance. Yeah, it's try to get the good balance, and maybe the marks are there today. So it was a good job.
And you're coming back to an event you have won before with another horse, Jardy. So this must give you a good feeling, a good hope.
Yeah, hope. Yes, I hope it's good. Yeah, maybe.
And also, you were telling me a little bit about your riding also in the Cadre Noir, and you ride the Capriole and the Haute Ecole horses. But there is a degree of transferable.
Yeah, because intensity in the intensity that we have during the Cadre Noir presentation, you know, because it's in the good rhythm, and jumps are maybe sometime with a lot of energy. So this is the same energy that we can have on the cross country, and it's a good training for me.
Well, congratulations on your efforts so far. Hopefully you'll be right up there flying the flag for France come the podium tomorrow afternoon. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Well, this is a big test in terms of the series leaderboard. They won in leg 2 in Wiesbaden. They were placed in leg 1 at Chatsworth. They're currently second on the series leaderboard. Sarah Cohen for Great Britain comes forward with Pressy Spark, and Liz Jones's Treason has been such a superstar for her over the years. 15 years of age now, but so competitive at this level, and could certainly put in a very, very big performance. We'll be watching this test with bated breath. Will they be able to break into the 30s? Some good 8s to start.
Good 8 to start, and now we see the first half pass, and unfortunately there seems to be a slight irregularities, but maybe it's just my eye that see that. Yeah, one of my colleagues saw the same, but it could be varied from letter to letter where you are. But now a nice shoulder in, and the second medium trot, and I think she's doing a good job. Maybe a little carefully written.
This combination actually long listed for the European Championships for Team GB for Stragom after that very good Wiesbaden result, and they were consistent in all 3 phases on that occasion. That was the key for them.
Well, if it becomes a cross-country jumping competition, Treason will come to the fore. Treason's right up at the top of that list alongside Mark Todd's Campino. So if the cross-country jumping comes up very difficult, expect them to come to the fore. If the time comes up difficult, expect them to be there as well. He jumped clear at Wiesbaden when not many did. Don't forget that was the day when we saw hot favourites like Escada and Chipmunk both have poles. So Treason is a horse that should, you know, that can do it in these next 2 phases. 43.2 at Wiesbaden, but the judges' comments at Wiesbaden afterwards were that Treason was the one horse they picked out that had a lot more in the tank. They were hoping for sub 30, or sub 40, I should say.
I think, if my memory serves me correctly, his canter work was a highlight in that test in Wiesbaden.
Okay.
So I know.
And this is what we're going to see here in a few seconds. Going into medium and collected walk again. Very straight. Some tension, jogging, wants to move on. Can't wait to get into that canter, apparently.
Well, a 15-year-old now, Treason. He's been in at CIC 3-star level 18 times in terms of his as a horse's experience at this level. His average is 46.7, but you can tell when a horse is ready to go, or when he knows what's coming. It can be a positive, but it can also be a negative at times.
It can, absolutely. But we see, like you mentioned, that the canter work is his big force. He seems to be feeling much more comfortable. Balance is really good here. Lovely change.
Plenty of 8s creeping in. If she could get this score down into the early 40s, this would be a really good start for her. Consistent in all the phases. That is going to be the key. Has he changed?
Whoa. He changed in the beginning. And what we like to see as judges is when the riders really dare to go out in the extended. So I was so pleased to see that she said, come on, we're going to show them. And unfortunately, there was some misunderstanding, and that was going to cost them.
Well, the extended canter has been that's a huge moment in this test, potentially a huge moment in the series, because that was on its way to the low 40s for the first time, and with another change coming up.
Well done.
Another good change.
Good change.
You know, we saw 8s across the board for the first one, but that first extended canter, so costly. We were heading towards the low 40s, potentially the high 30s, potentially a lead, but actually that extended canter has been hugely costly for Sarah Conan-Treason, and that could be a moment in the series, guys.
But she dares to have another go and doesn't think about that she had a mistake in the first one, which is very clever and brave of her. Said, I'm going to put it all in and see if I can do it right this time.
There's a 9 for that extended canter.
And I
Your ground jury
totally agree on that.
are
Absolutely.
really rewarding that. And to be fair, you know, Cutty might look back and say, I've left a few marks in the arena, but if she could be in the early 40s, this is again, she won Wiesbaden in the early 40s. You know, she came from behind, clear show jumping, clear fast cross-country round. Don't write her off.
Well, she came from behind at Wiesbaden, and it was actually a much stronger show jumping field. The show jumping field we have here, just based on who's come forward, based on strengths and weaknesses of across the field, it's actually a weaker show jumping field than Wiesbaden. Treason jumped clear there and moved up the way. Will have the potential to do it again, but this just shows you even one movement in a test can be very, very expensive. We talked about it earlier, the same as a pull down. In this particular test, the movement that it was the extended canter, and potentially a very, very big moment. Not just for this test, not just for this leg, but potentially for the series.
Well, she was 6th at Chatsworth in leg 1. She won Wiesbaden in leg 2. She's currently sitting 2nd on the series leaderboard with 51 points. And 42.5, those collectives bringing that score down into 4th as things stand at the moment. She may be a little disappointed with that, but still plenty to come, plenty to jump out there on Pierre Michelet's track, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of Treason this weekend. For now, though, let's go and talk to John.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm down here with Maxime Livio. Max, probably not the score you hoped for.
No, the horse can do, and I can do also really better. It's only his 2nd competition of the season. He did only want to start 1 month ago to start his season, so I think he's a little bit fresh, not totally in his full season. With the experience, I thought that he don't need that like the year before, but he told me today that he needs a little bit more, so I'm a little bit disappointed, but the course is not over. The short jumping is always big here. The cross country is always hard to be on time, so I have to keep going.
You've got to be in it to win it. So you've got to go faster cross country maybe than you planned, but you said maybe you were always going to go fast.
Yeah, every rider will have to do it if they want to be at the right place. So for sure now with my dressage card, the 2nd will be more important for me than if I did a better dressage. So wait and see. I will go walk the cross, try to be really precise on my way, to know it perfectly and to try to find all the best solution for my horse.
Okay, Maxime, we're going to keep an eye on you. You say you're still one to watch here at Jardy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I have to say, I think he's still one to watch as well, because we've seen in all of the Event Rider Masters legs, it is not just a dressage competition. Thomas Carlyle for France became the first person to win an Event Rider Masters leg from start to finish last weekend. So we know that the leaderboard will shuffle.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, the only person who's ever stayed under dressage score and went on to win is going to be coming up for us very soon, Alex Watien and Don Gennaro. So as you say, no Event Rider Masters leg has been a dressage competition. You have to deliver in all 3 phases. And, you know, for our new viewers tuning in, this idea of the triathlon, you have to, every horse will have strengths and weaknesses. This is just the very first phase. This gives them a starting point, and then we see where we go from here. We're on to Anna Seymour and FRH Butts Avedon. Nicole, from a stats point of view, we're in the, from 11 runs, Butts Avedon at this level, a 10-year-old mare, from 11 runs, we're averaging 47.8.
Well, FRH Butts Avondale, Anna Seymour actually won at this level already. They won at Renswoud earlier on this season, based at Le Moulin, Anna, and she's completed here before, was 5th at Jardy actually 12 months ago. So another combination that comes here with course form, and that's really important.
And a very experienced rider, came up through the system, German system, their education system for ponies, junior and young riders, and based in Le Moulin, and actually became mother of her 2nd child just recently, but back in the saddle, which is very interesting. Well done.
It's brilliant though, isn't it, to see, you know, we saw Lara de Liederkirchen-Meyer earlier on, Sarah Cohen, they've all had families, they come back, they're as good if not better than ever.
Don't forget, we've got a European Championships, and we've got Peggy French, who's come back after how long out? A year?
A year.
And Quarry Crest Echo is one of the huge ones that we're talking about this season. But back to Anna Seymour, 47.5 at the moment. That's in around their averages. They have been as low as 42.4 at Le Moulin already in 2017, and the Le Moulin form has translated quite well in this competition already to what we're seeing here at Jardy. So don't be surprised to see this beginning to creep back down.
The lateral work is not really the strongest side of this horse, but we've seen some nice medium trots, and the extended trot was really super as well. And going into the walk before the canter, I expect her to also get higher marks from here, or still be in the green light district regarding top 10. Stiffening. Maybe I said too much there.
The curse of the commentator. Welcome to our world.
Yes, that was noticed by the colleagues.
If she can keep, though, the test so far, there's been no major errors. It's all been very solid marks, and we talk again about the clear round in the dressage. If she can just keep this up around the mid-40s, she's going to be well inside the top 10.
Yes. She's very focused, has always been, also as a very young rider. So nothing's going to be wasted here. Okay, off they go in the canter. Very nice in the contact. Relaxed. First loop of the serpentine. Struggling a little bit in the counter canter.
From these early movements in this part of the test, do you begin to get your first idea as a judge as to how the next, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movements are going to be judged? You're getting your first impressions.
Yeah, we're getting the first impressions, but fortunately we're often surprised, because horses can have strengths and weaknesses like human beings as well. So if they are not so, we're not so positively surprised.
A 477.5 for the change. What do you think the judge?
Yeah, that I know it looks strange, but I must say again, sitting on the long side where you see the change from behind more or less, it can be difficult. So that judge would look at if it was straight and it was balanced, and if they can't see if the hind leg was late, then that's how it goes. Oh, and here she's a little bit stressed, the horse, I think, without being tense or anything, but maybe too focused.
Plenty of variation in the marks, but that's
again, yeah, that's what can happen, of course.
That just means that the penalty score dropping down to 48.9, and the whole point of the judges being situated at different parts of the arena is so they can see it in different angles.
That is exactly what it's about. Well done.
So
apart from the mistakes, unfortunately. I'm sorry for her.
Anna Seema for Germany with FRH at Butts Avondale. They complete their test. We'll wait for our ground jury to finish putting their collective marks together, and then we will get the provisional score for you. Our ground jury president at C is Eric Leby for France. At H is Angela Tucker for Great Britain, and then completing the trio, Andrew Benny at E for New Zealand, who of course was president of the ground jury at Barbary just last week in leg 3. In terms of how she could improve this test and go for the bigger marks, what would you be looking for as a judge?
Well, that would be the aim would be to have all movements correct. There were too many little mistakes here and there, which I know that Anna she's really angry with herself, and she'll go home and practice even more to make sure that that's not going to happen again, unfortunately for her.
Picky angles and skimmies, but hopefully that should suit him. I mean, anything can happen, but yeah, we'll have a crack and go for it.
And also with me, Vin Jones, owner and breeder, if I'm right, of Mr. T. So you've seen him since the day he was born, and he's really coming into his own.
Into this world. So I saw him first, and Sarah's always had great confidence in him. He did trials quite a bit as a young horse because it took a fair time for him to mature. But Sarah always had confidence in him, even if I wavered a bit. But he is fantastically bred. He's by the Thoroughbred Stallion Hand in Glove out of a Welton Crackerjack mare, and the mare is still in the field, so I'll be able to go back and tell her how her son did at the weekend. So it's great to have a horse up at this level, and it's very good for our breeding program. And we'll just have to hope that he lives up to hopes tomorrow.
Well, look, best of luck to you both, and as I was just saying, it's great that we have a combination like you two coming and really taking part in the Masters, so we can build a sort of a hero horse around Treason, which he absolutely is. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, now in the arena, Diabolique, ridden by Therese Wickland for Sweden, owned by Lena Nystrom, and there's a horse that was actually 12th at Stragom in the CCI 3-star a little bit earlier on this year. Went clear across country at Le Moulin as well, and at this level. So very much plenty of experience, and Therese, one of the top young talented riders in Sweden. We talked a little bit earlier on about the ATG scholarship for eventing that's awarded every year in Sweden to a talented young rider to give them opportunities. That I think there's training available with Sarah Algerson Ossolt, plus support to go to international competitions such as here in Jardy, and that is invaluable for such combinations.
This is a combination that has developed increasingly over the past years. We saw her in Copenhagen Eventing, which is running this weekend at home in Denmark, and she's just won it all. And this is a test where you would actually just like to lean back and enjoy. This horse is a great mover, and the contact apart from here, where it's just getting a little bit sort of curious about what's happening outside. The whole harmony between horse and rider is extremely positive. Losing rhythm in the half period here, stiffening a little bit, but now relaxed again, going into the extended walk. Looks straight, yes.
Interesting in the way that we talk about different horses having different strengths in different phases. So you've got to be able to, for eventing, you have to be able to be at a good level across 3 phases. You can't just be the best at one in any phase, because it's very, you will lose marks somewhere. Where Diabolique has been losing marks particularly is in the cross-country time and in the short jumping. So because of that, with the type of breeding, we should be expecting to see a very strong early test. So this is their strength. This is their phase.
Strengths. Unfortunately, not so strong in the walk, but trot and canter is really nice, and it is a little heavy horse. So as you say, it's not the quickest, but they are always performing very well.
They have been below 40 recently at Stragom in May. They were on they scored 39.5. So we haven't yet had a sub 40 today. The leader sits on 40.6. That's what we're chasing down. We are expecting to see sub 40s coming soon. This is going to be close.
This is going to be very close, but she's doing a great job and taking the chance in the extended canter, coming nicely back into the transition.
That first extended canter was where we saw Sarah Cohen and Treason lose their marks. Yeah. Sarah Cohen, a big player in our series at the moment. Look at those extended canter marks, 7s and 7.5, so still very much on for a good score. We've another flying change to come, we've another extended canter to come.
Super, absolutely perfect. This is fun to watch. Really nice.
Moved into the lead on trending scores, and 7.5 for flying change. Here's the second extended canter. They scored well in their first, but what the key thing that we're looking for here is that we are now trending towards the lead, and we're now trending towards the first sub 40, 39.9. Their best with this horse is 36.3. That came at Lamulin in the CCI 2-star last year, so the level below. If they can stay sub 40, Anna, collectives to come in.
Collectives come in, absolutely great paces. Some weak strides in the walk, but trot and canter fantastic. Impulsion should be also given really positive marks. Submissions as well, I would say, and she just does a great job.
So as a judge, we're going to call it. Does this move from 39.9, have we seen our first sub 40? Are we going down?
I think we're going to sub 40.
We're going
I
down.
trust myself.
We do love sub 40s. How many did Echo Rating say at the start of today?
Well, I said after the first session that I expected we might be into the six range of sub 40s. Anna or Trey's was one that I would have said would have been, let me see, 45. Yep, she's into the potential into the sub 40s on the expected. But if this goes sub 40, well then I expect the next one will go sub 40, and I expect Don Janeiro will go sub 40. So we could have a number to look forward to in the next few horses. So it's we're waiting. We stand by. 39.9 was the score before the collectives. We've been waiting for a sub 40. We're expecting a few based on how we have been looking so far today across all of the competitors, and we have it, a new leader, Nicole, 38.8.
38.8 into the lead for Sweden. Well, the Swedish riders impressing here this weekend. Malin Josephson also scoring a personal best in the dressage, 42.8. But Therese Wickland sets the standard, and 38.8 is the score to beat. But let's go down to John.
At the big stable, yeah, that's my stable.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, I'm here with Anna Zima. Anna, you've just scored a 47, and you're perhaps a little disappointed with that.
Yeah, just a little bit. She could be better. Normally her flying changes are very safe. Today not. We had some extra changes, I think. Nobody wants to see that, but yeah, we are happy as well.
And you have maybe a theory to do with your music. Your horse loves her music.
Yeah, my horse loves her music, like moves like Jagger. That's absolutely like she want to dance to. But the horse before me, she doesn't like that music. She was like, no, I'm not, I don't know, Amy Winehouse. I'm not Amy Winehouse. Come on. That was a bit, she was a bit unhappy with this.
Now, you've been incredibly successful. 13 international wins in your career already. And here at Jardy, do you think you can get back close to the leaders tomorrow over the next two tests?
Oh, yeah, come on. This is a super, the starting, when you look at the draw, it's like everybody is here. So, and me too. But I hope to be, she's super fast in cross country. And I think on this course, we need a super fast horse. So we go for cross country. That's why we're here for, not for dressage in the end.
Okay, well, we look forward to watching it. Anna, congratulations today. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, super fast on the cross country. That is an interesting little piece of information on FRH Butts Avondale going into the jumping phases tomorrow. But let's turn our attentions now to a man who was part of the French team who won Team Gold in Rio. The French so dominant in 2016. and they were very, very impressive at those Rio Olympics. And this horse very much part of that winning team, Entebbe de Hoo, and it is Karim Le Guarc. Now, Derm, what can you tell us? They've been on the podium in Event Rider Masters before. They were third at Chatsworth in Leg 1 last year.
They're taking all the boxes first, Nicole. The score they're going to have to chase down is 38.8. We had them coming in unexpected of about 42. However, that leader we had unexpected of about 45. So judging by the same type of thinking, we could be going into the lead again. We would have Entebbe de Hoo. We would have unexpecteds. We'd have them moving into the lead before this test even starts. Their last test, CCI 3-star, Samur, 39.6. 43.4 at the Olympics this summer, 39 at Chatsworth. They're the last 3 tests, only one this season at international level. As we say, the French don't run often at international level. When they go to win, and it's a good start, Anna.
It's a really nice start, and it's so amazing to see how the French riders over the years have developed their dressage. They're doing a great job. And this rider is one of them that has really said this discipline is also going to be my friend, not only cross-country and show jumping.
Well, the French team have been so impressive, but on top of that, they're building a lot of impressive stallions into their teams as well, because Entebbe de Hoo, 12 years of age, but a stallion. Upsilon, winner last week at Leg 3 at Barbary, a stallion. Tresor Mail, 4th last week, also a stallion. There's a lot of them. They're producing the goods. And, you know, when they're consistent in all 3 phases, like the French have been across the series, that's how they're getting the good results.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really amazing. Very nice pirouette here. We haven't seen a lot of that today. And going into the extended walk. Seems to be relaxed. Very focused and concentrated French rider. In the hands of chef d'équipe Michel Lazare, who used to be our very good colleague, but after London 2012, he decided to take the opportunity to become the chef d'équipe for the French riders, and that certainly has done them well.
And they've been on a real upward curve the last couple of years. They got team bronze in Blair at the European Championships, and then obviously gold in Rio last year. You can't help but feel they would be favourites going into Stragon.
They're going there for a win. They're not going there for fun or summer holidays, that for sure.
So Entebbe de Hoo, Karim Le Guarc rides this horse for Agne Solaria and Michel Doris. As I say, already on the podium in Event Rider Masters leg on this horse. That was Chatsworth last year when the French dominated, took the top 3 spots of the podium in the inaugural Event Rider Masters leg. In fact, they took 4 of the top 5 places, but the flying change is going well. Serpentine 8's in there.
He's just in there to do the very best he can, and it's amazing to see how he rides every stride. It's nothing is just okay, let's see what happens. He is totally focused. Very nice position, very nice in the contact.
And of course that's always going to translate to the collectors as well. I mean, this score is dropping. If we can go through this last flying change, we're going to be mid-30s at least.
At least, absolutely. Come on, keep going. Now the last flying change, very nice as well. Looks straight. Extended, go for it, come on. Amazing, we're down to 36 now. And I can imagine he's going to make a very nice hold, very straight. Love to see this one from the side because it seems to be an extremely good hold.
Well, and Tebby DeHoo, he thinks he's done a super job as well. The French crowd thinks he's done a super job, and Karim Leguag is going to go into the lead here, leg 4 of the Event Rider Masters in Jardy, and he is going to blow his personal best out of the water. He's trending 35.8. The collectives are still to come in. As a judge yourself, Anna-Mette, what would you mark that in the collectives?
3 very nice paces, and that was the first horse that, or not, what I've seen that had a good rhythm also in the pirouettes. So walk 8, impulsion 8, submission 8, and 8, 5 or 9 for the rider.
Well, 34.9. That is a huge test for the home crowd, and into the lead, Karim Leguag and Tebby DeHoo. That is an exceptional score, a personal best. And well, one to watch in the jumping phases tomorrow. Let's go over to John.
Thanks, Nicole. And somebody else who's broken the 40 and scored a personal best is Therese Wiklund with me now from Sweden. Therese, tell us a little bit about your test.
I think I had a very good test. She was a little bit tense in the walk, but then I think she did a really good canter work and have a good flying change.
And just remind us also, because it's easy to take for granted when we're in the Event Rider Masters, but you are here on a young horse.
Yes, she's only 9 years old and doing her first season in 3 stars, so we're here to get some routine, and maybe next year we can take the highest place.
So what we need to do is we need to get you on the Event Rider Masters circuit, and we need one in Sweden.
Yes, exactly. That would be perfect.
What's it like for you here? You know, I mean, every weekend you're probably riding against some of the best, but this weekend we've brought lots of the best together at Jardy.
Yes, it's fantastic to see all the good riders and to learn about how they ride the course and watch them.
Well, congratulations on your performance, and hopefully 2 good tests tomorrow to keep you right at the top of the tree.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, from one very good French rider to another very good French rider, Cedric Liard, Cadeau de Roy, and this horse that is hugely experienced, owned by Cedric, along with Ludovic Liard, was actually 12th at Chatsworth last year, was 5th at Burley as well in 2016, and very importantly, a good jumper, was clear in that really influential show jumping phase to climb up the leaderboard at Burley. So if they could be there or thereabouts after the dressage, he would certainly be one to look for as a climber onto the podium come tomorrow. Team Gold back in Athens, that was with Fine Mervale in 2004 for Cedric. Won Team Silver at the World Equestrian Games back in 2002 as well. He's hugely experienced, and he'll be looking to bring that forward here to leg 4 of the Event Rider Masters.
And a very nice test so far. Nothing sort of spectacular, but also he is going for a safe round, it seems. Doing the things the best they can without pressing it and without being too brave at times, which I believe is the right strategy for this horse.
Well, unexpected, we had them closer to Therese rather than to Karim, so we're looking probably, well, it's going to be very, very difficult to chase down our leader now straight away. 34.9, I think. Probably the only one we have left in this grouping that could do it is Alex Watien and Don Gennaro, or probably run them close. But this is one that could is very likely to move into the top 3, I would be suggesting at the moment, and that's only based on numbers and data. I'm going to hand over to you on what you see in front of you.
The fantastic thing about our sport is that it's 2 alive human beings that has to be acting like one, and therefore we never know. We never know, but we hope the best. We always hope the best as judges for the competitors. So far, it is looking really nice. Here, second half pirouette. It's quite nice. Very good. Take off into the canter. Yes, well rewarded. And here is that if you can tell that the rider knows that this is the strongest pace for the horse, and then he dares to ride a little bit more forward into the counter canter. Very accurate serpentine, well balanced in the true canter and in the counter canter. Oh, very nice.
Very experienced at 4-star level, so none of these movements are going to come as a surprise. None of these movements are going to be new, in the same way as we can sometimes see with a very young horse approaching this level for the first time. They had scored 47.3 at Badminton, they'd scored 46 at Burley. So we're looking at a very, very experienced horse, and it's coming up in those marks, Anna.
Yes, and like I said before, you saw it also in the extended canter that he dares to take the chances there. This is the strongest pace for the horse, and then he gets really takes his chances there, and then back again, calming down into the difficult serpentine, and another very nice change. So I'm not the number person, you're the number person, but let's see if he cracks the...
Well, those 8s are going to take him close, but I'm actually surprised, because the second part of their test, they have had a lot of 8s, 7.5s.
I have to say, for me, their flying changes have been a highlight. It was lovely to watch, and that, when you're watching dressage, is what you want.
Exactly.
41, and a good hold at the end.
Very nice hold also. So let's see.
Well, the question is, will those collectives bring Cedric Liard-Cadadois down sub 40? I think he could well be. He's 40.6 as things stand at the moment. We've 2 in front of the 40 barrier as things stand at the moment. Karim Leguarg, 34.9. He is our current leader. And Therese Vikland, 38.7. Excellent test from Therese. So we'll be seeing if Cedric can go into 3rd. I don't think he'll quite be able to challenge Therese, but if he could go 3rd, close for the jumping.
And we'd be happy with that. That's what we told you, Nicole. As we continue to challenge the fact that we can tell things by the numbers, we will be expecting somewhere in that top 3 mark, just based on straight numbers. But just based on, and they've done it 40. They haven't been sub 30, so we still have 5 more to get, Nicole, before we can get to my prediction of 6 of them sub. But 40 is enough for 3rd, and it's a good score for this pair. But if someone is going to challenge, they're going to come next. From this group, if we're going to have someone go and challenge, they're going to come next.
Well, excellent test from Cedric Liard, but the man of the moment is our current leader, and he is talking to John.
Absolutely. I'm here with Olympic champion Karim Leguarg. Karim, a great test, I think a personal best. Tell me how it rode for you.
It's my best score with Antebe, my friend. He's genial now. I'm very, very happy. Tomorrow, cross country and jumping. Fingers crossed.
Well, you're right out in front, and we say you're usually a cross country specialist, très vite.
Yeah.
So potentially you could be on another ERM podium after Chatsworth.
Oh. Maybe. It's my party cross country, yeah. And Antebe is very, very speed. And
perfect. Karim Florent, congratulations, a great score. It's great to have a personal best on home soil, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
I have to say, I think he was playing his cards quite close to his chest right now, because he would surely be one of the hot favourites going into the jumping phases tomorrow. But an excellent test there from Karim Leguarg, the home nation dominating 4 of the top 5 spots on the leaderboard. But this combination hold a little part of Event Rider Masters history as the only combination to finish on their dressage score at an Event Rider Masters leg. In Wiesbaden, they were quite hot in the dressage. Don Janeiro, not always the easiest.
Which we see here.
Yeah, for
good
Alex
example
Martial.
of, unfortunately.
What would you be doing if you were Alex now? You have a certain amount of time. The judges will have a bell that they ring that tell you that you can enter the arena. That's happened. What's the game plan?
Depending on every horse, because would it be worth it to take an extra circle around and then get -2 for entering late and then make sure that the horse is relaxed? Or does he know, well, I've just got to go in there and do the job? So that depends very much on each individual horse. But he chose to say, okay, we're in for it, and then we hope the best for them.
Well, here we go. Don Janeiro, the Echo Ratings Horse of the Year. He delivered last year at Bramham. He's the only horse to finish on his dressage score and go on to win an Event Rider Masters leg. We saw that same tension at Wiesbaden, but it was a very different atmosphere at Wiesbaden. Are we seeing the tension early on?
We are seeing some tension also in the shoulder in, coming towards that little area that the horse seems to be a little bit nervous and concerned about, but he's doing a great job, the rider, because he knew the medium trot is his strong side. It's going away from the problem area, and he goes for it to get the high mark that he deserves. And then the half pass seems to settling down a little bit. You see also this caused a little bit in the contact. The horse gets slightly sort of short in the neck because of the tension, and the rider has to try to control it.
He's incredibly talented in this first phase, but as we can see, he can be very hot.
It is a handful. It's not for everybody to ride this horse, I'm sure.
But Alex does a great job, doesn't he? Because he always, even when he's sitting on what might feel like an unexploded bomb, he's so cool and calm, and you just wouldn't know it.
No. He's taking each step at a time and hoping for the best, and does not let himself influence by it, which is the only right thing to do.
Well, we've talked about it all across the morning. Clear rounds in this phase, Nicole. We can't afford to have expensive one poor movement. We compared it to having a pole down. 4s across the board. It's the comparative effect of a pole down. He's going to have to begin to work his way back into this test, movement by movement. But we would have had this as someone that can chase down the leader. This is a horse that can be as low as that leader score. They could be in the 30s, they could be in the mid-30s. Because of the start, because of that early tension, the goal now is to get back to the low 40s. Even that is going to be a challenge for them.
And you see here coming towards B, where the horse was struggling and feeling uncomfortable before even entering the arena. And of course that's a little bit unlucky that the lines of the test leads us directly towards that area.
What would that be? Is that something in that area? Could it be music? I know Don Janeiro particularly struggles with sound, so speakers or a loud noise in a certain area is one thing. So different horses will be affected by different things: flags, movement, people. But I know from talking to Alex that Don Janeiro, one of his things is sound and speakers.
Yeah, so it could be something like that, but it also could be anything. And once they're sort of stuck into that particular thing, it can be quite difficult for some horses to just go away from it again and leave it and say, that's nothing, I can be safe in here.
And that was very cleverly ridden by Alex there, wasn't he? Because he kept the counter-canter when he was going to sort of his bogey part of the arena.
Yeah. And that's, of course, the benefit of having these lovely long legs, that it's sometimes easier to sort of guide your horse in the direction that you want them to go without it looking hard or being hard or anything. Oops.
Well, make no mistake, we see huge drama in the dressage phase when we see people go down into the low scores, and it's not what we expect. But this is not what we expect from Don Janeiro. We're looking at a former winner of the Event Rider Masters last year. They won it from a dressage score. Looking back over their last 6 tests at international level, at the highest level, including the Olympics, you'll see 45, 42, 41, 40, 41. They're all across that very low 40s. So a score in the 50s is unheard of for Don Janeiro. Just a 10-year-old, a huge talent, a hugely talented rider coming from China. This pair will be back. This is not what we expect, and it's going to be a blip for a hugely talented combination.
That is, and it will also have influence on the collectives, submission, etc. And it's not showing the paces that we know that it has. That is really sad for Alex. I'm sorry for him.
As you say, it's sad, they'll be disappointed,
Yeah.
but it's a blip. It's the same as we can see one very good test go against what's expected. This has gone against what's expected on the other side, but it's a blip. It's not a problem.
And you feel for Alex, don't you? Because he adores this horse. I mean, he's been top 10 at Olympic Games with him. The horse is full of talent, full of being capable in all of the phases. And sometimes horses are animals, aren't they? And they come in and they see something they don't like, and you know, it just doesn't go to plan. It's difficult.
That's a part of the sport, and it shouldn't happen too often. Then we know that the riders get too disappointed and they do something else, or find another solution, another horse maybe. But let's hope that next time that Alex will have the normal standard as that we know that he has in him, in his partnership with his lovely horse.
I'm sure he will, and there are you know, so many bows to Alex's string. He's an excellent rider, but he's an excellent dressage rider as well, and I'm sure we'll be looking forward to seeing him in the future in Event Rider Masters Series. And again, there's still plenty to jump out there over the next couple of days. So Alex Ratian, Don Gennaro, a former winner of an Event Rider Masters leg. They triumphed at Bramham last year, the only combination to finish on their dressage score and win an Event Rider Masters. 55.1 though, that's going to put them down in 24th place as things stand at the moment. But let's go out and talk to John.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm with Cedric Liard, Cadeau de War. Now, you've just about that 40 mark. Are you pleased with today's test?
Yeah, it was very good today, I think. Yeah, I'm pleased with it.
We're speaking a little bit. He's been a tremendous 4-star servant for you. Will this short format, the fast 3-star against the clock, will this suit him?
I think he can be fast because he's not pulling so much and he's quite easy to turn and he can jump quite fast, so it could be good like that. He's not so nice to ride on a small competition like that. I mean, with the turn and stuff, but he's good. He could be fast enough, I think.
And for you here at Jardy, often you've had Jardy for your French riders to yourselves, and now we've all come and invaded Jardy. Is this okay? Is it good to have the competition?
Yeah, we're very, very pleased to have this kind of competition in Jardy because we know it for a long time, and looks like it's very nice, and it's always nice to do this sort of competition, of course, yes.
Well, Cedric, well done today. We are absolutely delighted to be in France at the Masters. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, Jorn Warner for Germany, the next combination to come forward, and in fact the last to go before the final break of the day. Jorn comes forward with the Castle King, a horse owned by Rosemarie Warner. Actually made his Event Rider Masters debut at Chatsworth a little bit earlier on this year in leg 1. Retired across the country on that occasion. Things didn't quite go to plan, but a horse that's done very, very well at both Houghton and Le Moulin since, has jumped clear across the country at both of those, and their test has started very well.
They tend to be very consistent. I'm going to take a breath because I was expecting and hoping Don Gennaro to go and challenge the leader. I wasn't expecting Castle King to get off to begin in the low 30s. They tend to be very, very consistent, but in the mid 40s area, and it's their good cross-country jumping record which ensures that they've had so many good placings. But a consistent horse in the mid 40s is still very, very impressive at international level, at international 3-star level. What we're seeing here is a great start, and from a judge's perspective, you're happy?
I'm happy. It's consistent and not the biggest mover, this horse, but again, a rider that has a plan, has a vision, if you can say that, for his test. He wants to get every good mark out of every movement in this test.
And again, if we talk about, and it's not just new viewers, but even riders from time to time will talk about that consistency, not making mistakes. Going back to the concept of 7s across the board gets you 45. Can you add little places where the horse is strong to be able to maximize that?
And we see much more than just a few years back how much riders are working on these little details. They really want to do the best, and get so disappointed with themselves if they make even the smallest mistakes in the test. There's some tension here going into the collected walk. Horse anticipates a little bit, knowing that, oh, in a minute I'm allowed to get into the canter that I prefer.
And sometimes you see that with the very experienced horses who have, it can be the weakness of a very experienced horse, where the strength can be that they've been here before, they've done it all before, they're an old pro. The weakness can be that they anticipate whatever's going to come next. However, Castle King, only their 5th appearance and in a CIC 3-star, and actually the same for Jorn. So as a pair, relatively inexperienced, neither of them have been to Jardy before.
No. And that can be the way this horse is showing that it hasn't been around that much, even though this is a experienced pair nationally also. That makes these little tensions here and again, but a super change. So they're back on track again after some tension in the walk. Very nice change.
And very important as well, because
you could tell here that this is what this horse wants to do. I love cantering fast. Yes, finally, please let me go on. But again, it came back nicely into the transition. So this horse wants to do its job, even though it's a little bit tense. He's paying attention to his rider.
And he's been very well rewarded for that extended canter. The reason we mention it is he's got that opportunity to get that again if he can replicate that in that movement on the other side of the arena on the way back up just before his final movement.
Should be possible, absolutely. Oh. Just waiting a little bit. He got away from it well. I was worried that he was going to make a mistake, but he sort of hesitated before the change, but got some energy into it and did a nice change. Yes.
Well, here we go. We're moving into personal best type territory now. 43.5. Their best ever is Houghton Hall. 2017, 45. That's the best that they've had as a pair. That's the best they've had at the level. They look like they're on it. Is that a costly final movement?
That is a costly final movement. It changes, falls to trot before the hold, and that has to be put into 1 mark. I'm afraid he can go below 5 for that.
44.7. Their best is 45. Their personal best is 45, but they do have collectives to come.
Yeah, and that could maybe in the submission you would go down also. Yeah, that was expensive.
Well, we are going to put our judge on the spot soon because 44.7, they're still trending on a personal best, but will they come out on that? Jorn Warner and Castle King, still just a 13-year-old. We're going to wait for those collectives to come in. Anna, have they got a personal best?
I'm afraid that this is going to be too much.
You think it'll move over the 40
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry at all.
Well, but you feel with the riders.
Of course.
That's a part of the amazing thing about we're allowed to do what we do as judges.
So Jorn Warner celebrating his 30th birthday here today with Castle King, a horse who is very much on an upward curve in terms of the dressage, very much improving every time out, and at 44.5. So
well done.
Wow. Well, on his birthday, we have a personal best to offer him, Nicole. Equirains can give him that personal best, which he earned himself.
We very much like that. So Jorn Warner into 11th, but let's go down to John, who's catching up with, no doubt, a very disappointed Alex Watian.
Yes, indeed, Nicole. This is it. We didn't expect a score like that from the Don.
Well, to be honest, I think the judges were quite sympathetic considering. I think halfway through, I definitely considered a few things, including retiring. I'm pretty mad, pretty cross, and very disappointed. You know, Don is 10 years old now. He knows what he's doing. He's been to enough shows, and to go in there and just drop me like that was not on. So I'm disappointed in the Don today.
And I suppose overnight now, you know, it's not a guarantee that we're going to see you all day tomorrow, because you've got options to consider overnight. You know, the horses, they only have a number of runs in them, and you know, now is it reset, go to Gatcombe, or do I carry on at Jardy? What's it going to be like?
I think I'll definitely show jump, and then I'll talk to my owners and see what we want to do. You know, he hasn't run since Wiesbaden over a month ago, so maybe he needs a run. But you're exactly right. Quite possibly turn around and aim for Gatcombe instead.
Okay, well, as I say, he's such an important part of the Masters this year because you don't have a Continental Championships to aim for. So I assume this is a big part of your program this year.
Oh, totally. I obviously can't go to the Europeans, although you'll be surprised how many people ask. But for me, the ERM series has been completely earmarked for Don this year, and very much aiming to go to Blenheim and then possibly Buccolo to do a long 3-star to qualify for the Worlds next year. But we need to go a little bit back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on in the dressage.
Every day's a school day with horses, but of course Brabham winners last year, one of 4 leg winners in the class. Alex, night ahead of thought.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to have a look at the results overall, back up in the studio with Nicole, and then come back for another couple of interviews here with including Jorn Warner.
Well, you could almost feel Alex's disappointment, but it is horses. You know, we talk about this all along. They're not machines, and he did an incredible job to get as good a mark as he did, really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So in the studio for the 3rd session of Dressage Dernbird from Echo Ratings, Anna-Mette Binder, who is an international dressage judge. Let's just talk about our highlights. Anna-Mette, we'll start with you. Highlight for you?
Highlight was to see the Swedish rider. It's always so nice to see. She's not new in the game, but she's still young and proving that she has the right material to go all the way. And also to see, again, the French riders doing so well in this discipline that used to be their really weak link. So lots of the highlights, I would say.
Therese Wickland, the young Swedish rider, personal best for her, brilliant score. Derm, what has been Echo Ratings' highlight?
Oh, well, a huge PB for Entebbe, who I don't think you can look beyond that. I think what's been really interesting in this grouping as we get into real talent is just the importance of every single mark. So the Treason mark, the Treason extended canter, that one moment where you saw it, just one of the only marks in the test which dropped below 6, how costly it was. And that's not a highlight, but it was brilliant to be able to see it highlighted by top class riders, breaking down every movement and the scores associated with it.
So in terms of the French domination, we've touched upon it that it perhaps hasn't always been their strongest phase, but there's 6 of them in the top 10. And I think we'll be looking for some very, very strong performances come later on and tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. We look forward to that, that's for sure.
Building up to the European Championships in Stragom. Well, let's go down to John, who is looking at all of the atmosphere out in the collecting ring. And I tell you what, tension is building for the final 10, John.
Yes, it definitely is, Nicole. Plenty still to come, but a young man who's just received a great birthday present, 30th birthday boy Jorn Warner, got a personal best.
Yes, that's true. 44.5, I think, was the result now. I'm really happy about it because personal best now, and yeah, I'm very pleased. It's the first season for us to ride CIC 3-star and also the first ERM season, the second time we are riding ERM, and yeah, really happy about it.
So we've seen you quite a lot in Britain at Burnham Marken and at Houghton, and of course, as you mentioned, at the Event Rider Masters at Chatsworth, and this is because you're UK based at the moment.
Not at the moment. I was based in the stable from July 2, and now I'm back in Germany and have to work again, and I hope I will be back next year in England to start the season in 2018.
And what is your plan now for the autumn? Might we see you at 1 or 2 more Masters?
I hope, but then I have to go to England back, and I will see. I'm not sure, but it's a good. The ERM, it's a good thing, and I want to ride more of this. Yeah, it's good.
Well, we're happy to have you in the series. Congratulations, Jorn. Fred Barendorf. Fred, you've just taken over as chef de keep for the Swedish team. We've seen you as a Swedish eventing medalist. We've seen you as a British show jumper. I think you won the Fox Hunter final at the Horse of the Year show. But tell us a little bit about why you've brought a good few riders here to Jardy.
Yeah, first was the newcomers final, but it was very good all the same. Yeah, we brought 7 riders here. 4 riders for the Masters here. I think it's a really good class for them. They get put under a little bit more pressure. They get to ride with a lot of good riders, which I think is really, really valuable. So we've got a bunch of younger riders here, and I'm hoping to support them and give them a lot of experience, and hopefully they have a good day here tomorrow over the next 2 tests leading up for the European Championships.
Yeah, the Masters is very much a series in its own right, but it also does help set that form for the long format championships.
Absolutely, and especially for the riders in Sweden, which doesn't get in contact with all these good riders all the time. For them to come out and experience what you're doing here, the Masters works fantastically for that.
And also, I spoke to some of your riders, and they're mostly Swedish-based, so they're traveling once a month to a big competition. Do you sit down at the beginning of the season and try and get them to go to similar places for your observation?
Yeah, a little bit. This first year, I wanted them very much to do their own schedule, just make sure they could ride where they thought they rode best. But we very much did that together. And of course, they got very good riders in Germany and some in England as well, so they are a bit spread out.
I think it's the same across all of the sports. And also, it's a privilege to have Federico Roman. Federico, who was the 1980 Olympic individual gold medalist and team silver medalist for Italy, and of course, father of one of our Masters competitors. Federico, you just tell us a little bit. I mean, I can remember when we didn't even have CIC competitions. So just tell us a little bit about what you've seen in the sport.
Well, I started my Olympics time with the old format. We had competition lasting 1.5 hours, and faults were not counted as penalty, yes, but not as elimination. We were composed, particularly in the team competition, to go forward in any cases. And it was a different time, you know. Luckily, our sport has been adapted with the change of life, with the change of approach from the media, from the crew, from the people, and so it can survive in a very new fashion way and attract passion from new people and for today people. That's very important.
Tell me about the horses. You Italians, you've always been very loyal to the Irish horse. Pietro is still on one, but even your show jumpers now in the modern warm blood show jumping, they're still riding Irish horses. Do you think the type of horse has really changed since 1980 Olympics to now, or are we still looking for the same horse?
Well, horses are changing because the genetics is much quicker than like in humans. You know, you have a reproduction every 4 years. You may change. So, and then the possibility to have insemination did a big change in the choice of the different lines. And good horses are still good horses, and of course the ability and the physical ability and mental ability of the horses did a huge change in the last 40 years, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. A privilege to speak to Olympic gold medalist Federico Roman, European medalist and Swedish chef to keep Fredrik Barendorf, and event rider master Jorn Warner. We'll be back with more action just shortly, but back to the studio for the moment.
Well, let's take a look at the leaderboard. This is how things stand after 3/4 of the field has gone. Karim Leguag and Tebi Dahu, they are the out-and-out leaders at the moment, 34.9, a massive personal best. They've been on the Event Rider Masters podium once before. They'll be looking for more of the same this weekend. The French, though, as we expected, dominant on home soil. 6 of the top 10 placings, and 2 for Sweden in there as well, as that very good test from Elmo Jankari for Finland. Paul Spizak, he's been top 10 already on his Event Rider Masters debut with Banderas in Wiesbaden, 44.5. A very good test for him. Sidney Dufresne, well, he was 4th at Barbary just last week with Tresor Mail. He'll be looking for more series points this weekend. Big disappointment for Alex Suatian, a former Event Rider Masters winner with Don Janeiro. Things definitely didn't go to plan for them, 55.1. Didn't make things easy for Alex, and no doubt we'll be seeing him tomorrow in the jumping and then later on in the Event Rider Masters series as well. Well, one of the exciting innovations of the Event Rider Masters series is our technology partnership with SAP that allows you at home to judge all of our combinations. You agree, you would have put Tebi Dahu and Karim Leguag out in front, 39.8, but you're a tough ground jury at home, I have to say. You are definitely marking a little bit more conservatively than our ground jury here, but it is just for a bit of fun. You can get involved, judge all of the combinations coming forward, and let us know who you think will be out in front. We'll be looking at that leaderboard at the end of the day as well, but you can download the SAP Spectator Judging app for free in Apple, in iTunes. Go online and get involved. We'd love to see what you think. Well, making his Event Rider Masters debut this weekend is Mikael Young, who we're very, very happy to have him with us. He's the world #1, he's the double Olympic champion, and a little bit earlier on, John managed to catch up with him.
And also with me, world #1 and Olympic champion, Mickey Jung. Mickey, welcome to Jardy. Why have you chosen to come to Jardy? Is this a place you would normally come?
Yeah, this is a very good competition. I can ride 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, a nice competition for the young horses. That's very important for me.
And you have an option here to show off your 3-star horses in the Masters. Tell me about your thoughts on the Masters.
It's a very good series, I think. We spend so much money in this sport. It's very expensive, everything. So when we can get a bit money from sponsors or from series, from the competitions, that's a very big help for us, and you can be very sure that we put all the money back into the sport to make it more professional, the training, the traveling, to help the horses, and yeah, it's a big help for us.
Tell me a little bit, you have been successful over Michelet tracks. Do you like his designing? Is it something you seek out to compete over his courses?
Yes, I like the competition in France very well, and also Pierre Michelet is a very, very good course designer. I like he make the distances a bit forward, where you can keep the rhythm. He make very interesting questions, not very stupid, not too tough, but very nice questions where you can get good experience from that.
And what is your feeling this weekend with Star Connection? Podium, win?
You never know, but he's a very good young horse. Okay, he's not very young, but he was injured, so he lost 2 years of experience. But yeah, this year I very much like him. He's a very talented horse, so we will see.
Great to have you on the Masters, Mickey. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Mickey is one of the combinations still to come. We have 10 more riders coming forward in this final session. The group seeded A, they have the best dressage averages, and it promises to be full of contenders. So, Derm, Equa ratings ones to watch. Who do we need to be looking out for in this final session?
Well, we're coming into that final group, and I mean, if we're talking about people that can go sub 40, I'm just going to take them off a list. Cheeky Kalimbo's in first, he can do it. Ascona, Tim Price, they can do it. Cooley Masterclass and Oliver Tannen, they can do it. Chico Bella, Gemma Tattersall, they can do it. Star Connection, Michael Young, they can go sub 40. Bettina Hoy, Senior Medical, King Debris. We can look at pretty much any one of these horses, Nicole. Let's just leave it as a list as it is, because Mark Dodd and Campino can do it as well. Livingston can do it. It's a list of people that have a huge chance to go sub 40. We had a massive group of people went sub 40 at Chatsworth in 2016. I think we're about to see a record-breaking session.
Well, we can't wait to get underway. We're delighted to be joined by Christina Klingsborg once again in the studio. And Mette Binder was with us for that third session. But Kiki, you're back with us. What have been your thoughts on the day so far?
I'm very excited, and I think all the riders is very excited as well to do a record here. So I think we will have fantastic dressage. And I think I haven't seen the last leg, but I'm sure the judges have some hopefully 9s and 10s in the pocket that they can deliver for us.
We do love a 9 and 10 in the pocket. Derm, we have 2 combinations coming forward that have led an Event Rider Masters leg in the dressage, and actually neither went on to win. That is Andrew Hoy, Cheeky Kalimbo, who led at Gatcombe last year, and Signor Medicott, Bettina Hoy, who I think we should talk about in more detail, who led in Blair last year.
Cheeky Kalimbo had an off day when he went to the show jumping at Gatcombe, if I'm not mistaken. That didn't go well at all. Now let's go to Senior Medical, because that was a huge moment, Nicole. You're right to pick it out. It was a huge moment in the Event Rider Masters series. They had two poles down, but the time fault in the show jumping was what put them behind Oliver Townend when they went cross country. When they went cross country, they had a run out at the final hedges, and Oliver Townend heard that on the loudspeaker, which allowed him to slow up, kill Nabrid Evo, and just get home without having to push the button. It was the first win, the turning point, which became the basis of his Event Rider Master series win. So that one time fault in the show jumping for Bettina and Senior Medicott was a turning point, but they were the leaders back then at Blair. They could well be the leaders by the end of the day today.
Well, we talk about the defining moments in the Event Rider Masters series, and we could be about to see a few of them in this final session of dressage. First up, is Andrew Hoy. He comes forward with his own cheeky Kalimbo, actually led Gatcombe on 36.6, withdrew after that difficult show jumping round, then went on to Blenheim, finished just outside the top 10 in the series finale of the Event Rider Masters last season. But I mean, Andrew, he's so experienced. He's been to 7 different Olympic Games. He's won 3 team golds, an individual silver, won badminton, Kentucky. You know, the list goes on and on. There is no better man on board. This could be a good test.
But even just at CIC 3-star level, Nicole, they've 37 runs. But for all the experience, they've never been to Jardy, and they've never, and neither has Cheeky Kalimbo. They're averaging their average dressage from 9 CIC 3-star runs. Wait for it, Kiki. 33.8 from 9 runs at the level. So they can deliver. We had 12 people go inside the 30s at Chatsworth. We already have 2. We've 10 to go. So we got to have all 10 in the 30s if we want to equal the record from Chatsworth 2016, the very first Event Rider Masters competition. This is one that we would expect to join the 30s.
I think he has done a very nice, relaxed start. Usually he ride on the double rider. He has thrown it away now, and he looks like, I saw him at the warm-up, he looks very relaxed. He looks that he's really with him. He hasn't done any mistakes, and he has got quite good marks. He has to deliver a bit more to get the really 8s and 9s to really be up on the leaderboard, but I'm sure he will present that, and that was a nice half pirouette. This horse, I know a bit about that. He can be quite tricky sometimes. He can completely be very hard to ride, but it looks like that he's really has got the horse with him today. And now he's doing the extended walk.
So he's still trending in the 30s. All things going to plan so far for Andrew Hoy for Australia. Cheeky Kalimbo can sometimes live up to his name, Cheeky Kalimbo, but a real superstar.
Okay, so now he's doing the second pirouette. Hood has a bit more action in that, and what a bit, not stuck, but he could have a bit more action behind, but still quite nice. And now he's getting into his canter work. And what I like with this horse is the frame, the contact. The horse is really with the rider. And he looks like very nice harmony, and it also looks like the judges like it. Here he would have some small resistances, a nice flying change. You would like to have a bit more energy and push, but his ride very safe and nice and accurate.
Big marks for the flying change, big marks for the serpentine. The extended canter, Kiki, does it look?
It's okay, but I would like to see a bit more differences actually from the... He rides quite safe, I will say. I would like to have a bit more push and a bit longer strides.
But those scores still coming in plenty of 8s, and he's on 35.6 at the moment. That's a little bit below where I think Karim Leguag was when he was at this stage of his test. So if Andrew can nail this last flying change, get that score continuing to fall.
Beautiful. I mean, well placed, beautiful, relaxed. So I'm sure we will see at least 8.
They're going to be hoping to take over from the leader, but to give you an indication of what Cheeky Kalimbo can do, they won't be hitting a personal best today. Their personal best is 28.5. That came at Lamoule in 2014, and that was also CIC 3-star level.
Yeah, so he's nearly there at Karim's score, and I'm sure he will do a great halt, and that's very nice. We didn't see it so long, but I'm sure he will have a good mark for that as well. And he will good.
Well, I have to say, they're trending 35.0 at the moment. The leader is for France. Karim Leguag, 34.9. I think with those collectives, Kiki, we're going to see that score drop into a new leader.
Yeah, I didn't see Karim ride, but for sure the horse was very nice, steady, established, didn't do any mistakes at all. I don't know, maybe Karim horse, I know that he has a quite good energy and power in his horse. Maybe that could be that separate those two on the leaderboard.
I think we're safe enough that we're going to have a new leader. Cheeky Kalimbo, he's not going to hit his own personal best, but he doesn't need to. You know, we're going to have a change. We're going to have an Australian at the top. 34.5, Nicole, it's in. A new leader, and it's exactly as we planned. The start of the final session. The talent is coming through now. 34.5. Takes over from Kareem Leguag and Entebbe Dehu. But will Cheeky Kalimbo still be there at the end of the competition? He can be cheeky in show jumping. We saw that at Gackham when he led. He can be cheeky in cross country. Is he going to hold on to it here?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll hopefully catch up with Andrew shortly, but there is a huge team behind every horse, and John has been able to catch up one of our super grooms.
Yeah, our second opportunity today to talk to one of our ERM super grooms. Holly, you look after Tim and Janelle Price's horses, and our riders come from all around the world, and so do our grooms. You're all the way from New Zealand as well.
Yes, I am, yeah.
And how long have you been up with Tim and Janelle?
I've been about 5.5 months now. Yeah, and I came straight from New Zealand and started working for them.
So you've done Southern Hemisphere winter and winter with us.
Yeah. Luckily, when I first got here, we went straight to Spain, and I missed most of the winter.
Yeah, because those guys, they do a bit of pure show jumping as well, so you've got experience in 2 spheres.
Yeah, well, they started off doing the Sunshine Tour just to prepare for the season. So that's where I did a bit of experience with that as well.
And this weekend, you've just got a Skona to look after, 1 horse, all the way to France in the sun. Tell me about your worst weekend. What's the most horses you've had out with Tim and Janelle?
We usually have about 6. Mostly, but we have 6, we have more than 1 groom, so that's shares the load a little bit.
Okay, so it's about a 5-to-1 horse to groom ratio. Holly can manage 5.
Yeah, we do about 4 on our own for one day.
And is there anything special you're doing because of the heat here in Jardy, or are the horses, because of their fitness, they're pretty okay?
These guys are pretty okay. It's been quite hot recently anyway, so that we just keep up the electrolytes and just manage them and yeah, keep them cool as much as we can.
Well, thanks for all that you do behind the scenes for Tim and Janelle, and for all of our wonderful equine partners as well, Holly. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, now in the arena, Will Furlong for Great Britain with his own Livingstone. And this is a horse that he's had a good deal of success on. He won individual gold and team gold, actually, at the Young Rider European Championships in Stragom a couple of years ago. Scored 32.7 on that occasion. So we know they're capable of scoring in the 30s, and actually a horse that's had a good deal of success at 2-star level below this as well. Has been National Young Rider Champion in Great Britain on 2 occasions, runner-up as well in the last 3 years. So very talented. Will recently had the biggest win of his career when he took the CCI under-25 class at Bramham International Horse Trials. What can he do here on his Event Rider Masters debut? Will Furlong for Great Britain.
We have seen a very nice start of Will Furlong, and it's very nice to see a quite new, young, talented rider. And he has got really good scores, and he deserves it very well. And I hope he can give us even a better scores and be up there in the top. That would be very, very nice to actually mix this old experienced rider with some new good ones, for sure.
Well, certainly we're moving from one end of the spectrum, Andrew Hoy, to the other, and Will Furlong, still just 22, but this is his strong point. This is the phase that they have to capitalise on. So we've talked about the triathlon of sport all the way through. You've got to deliver in each phase, and this is the phase that Livingston has his opportunity to get ahead. He's been as low as 34.5. He's been as low as 32.7 when they were at Stragom a couple of years ago, but in recent form 34.5 when they went to Houghton Hall in the 2-star at 3-star level, 41.1 last time out at Houghton Hall. They've got off to a great start. When we look at the expected scores and when we look at what they've delivered so far, we'd be expecting them to come in right where they are now, somewhere in that 38 to 39 bracket. Can they push on from that in the second part of their test?
I think they can, actually. I have been has the favor to judge him, and he's never ever do you disappointed, actually. And he has improving a lot, even from he was a good 2-star rider when he was young rider, and he's absolutely show us that he belongs in the top and in the 3-star. So, and he has started up well in the canter work, and He's up there touching the 7.58, and now he's doing his flying change. That was fairly good. He'll be up there 7.75, maybe 8, some judge. Looked like he was totally straight. And I mean, look at the frame, the neck of the horse, and the contact. I mean, they are absolutely a couple that has not done this for the first time. They have really been training, and it's absolutely a beautiful test. So now, sorry. Now he's coming on his, the last serpentine, and he's going to do now a flying change again here. And that was also good. He well placed, and it looks, the horse, as we said, I mean, it's lots of things happens here, music, people, but the horse looks absolutely in the bubble with the rider. So the harmony is very, very nice, I must say. And I'm sure the judge on the long side, Andrew Benny, has a beautiful view on this rider.
So will it be test number 5 in the 30s? I think it could well be. A round of applause for Will Furlong for Great Britain with Livingston, his young rider. European champion back in 2015, was so unlucky actually at the Young Rider Europeans last year, well placed after dressage, actually went to start across the country. The horse had a foot abscess and Will pulled up and called it a day. And you can see why. I mean, this horse at 14 years of age now by Laval, and he's been brilliant for Will's career and very much one that could make an impact on his Event Rider Masters debut.
Absolutely, we're happy with that in terms of how our numbers are playing out so far. It's very close to as expected, and it's given us a very good indication of this early session as to what we're likely to see, which is going to be positive. It's going to have lots of 30s, as we've said, but that's because there's a lot of talent. You know, and I think you particularly enjoyed that test, Kiki.
I really liked it, and as I said, it's always nice when you see a new name coming up with the big names, and he absolutely fit in there. So, and I'm sure we will see lots of this couple, rider and horse, in the future.
It's a huge achievement just to make it into the final grouping. If you look at who he's in with: Andrew Hoy, Tim Price, Albert Townend, Mark Todd, Gemma Tatterson, Michael Young, Thibaut Villette, Bettina Hoy, Bill Levitt. Yeah, you know, so for Will Furlong's name at 22 to be in alongside them, 38.6, we're into 3rd place.
And just sneaks ahead of Therese Wickland, 38.7. So the smallest of margins here, leg 4 of the Event Rider Masters, but an excellent test from Will Furlong. But we have a new leader, and that is a man for Australia, and he's talking to John.
Yes, thanks, Nicole. I'm here with Australian Olympian, Olympic gold medalist Andrew Hoy. You're our leader at the moment, and a great score for Cheeky Kalimbo.
Yes, it is a great score, and I'm very happy. Like Cheeky Kalimbo, he's a great horse. We've had many interesting moments throughout our career to here, but he's very secure now. I've been in this position before. Great start. There's a long way to the finish.
Tell me, how does this fit into your feeling about the result? Because you're in the lead at the moment. Your personal best is lower yet. Are you still happy?
Look, you can always be happy with a better score, but I did what I could do today. So from here on, I just have to keep the penalty points down, like not add to those penalty points.
You've won at 3-star together down in Italy. How is this French course, the Michelet course, going to suit you as a combo?
Pierre Michelet designs a course that creates a lot of jumping. There's lots of questions out there. You can never underestimate any course, and especially Pierre Michelet's courses.
Okay, well, the very best of luck tomorrow. 2 more important tests to go, as you say, but a good start.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Well, plenty to jump, definitely. And one man who'll be looking forward to those phases is Tim Price for New Zealand. Tim comes forward with Ascona M. And this 9-year-old by Casaro, owned by Sir Peter Vela, Ben and Lucy Sangster and Suzanne Huchin. And a combination that went very well at Tattersalls in the CIC 3-Star Nations Cup at the beginning of June. Actually finished 3rd on that occasion. 39.5 they scored in the dressage. And Tim, another rider who could put good series points on the leaderboard this weekend. He was 6th at Barbary last week with Sekatinka, and he was very good in both jumping phases. So if he can be hot on the heels of the leaders here, more than capable of scoring in the 30s, then it will be one to keep an eye on tomorrow. I wouldn't bet against him. Tim Price, he's a 4-star winner, he's an Olympian, and he comes forward with Ascona M.
Well, he's riding his wife's Ascona M, and we shouldn't forget that Janelle took Ascona M all the way through the level below, and also at the 8 and 9-year-old class at Blenheim, and it was mid-40s across the board when you look at Tattersalls last year, Somerford Park last year, Blenheim 34.6 when in the 8 and 9-year-old class, and then 43.8 at Linier. However, and Tim will always remind Janelle of this, when Tim got it, Ascona M, the mare, she went sub 40 last time out, 39.5.
Unfortunately, Tim had a bit of a canter into his proceeding trot after the halt, and so now he really has to. I mean, you can't miss anything here to be up on the top score. So he has now to really present higher marks than the other to be up there, and I'm sure he can. He's a lovely horse. He has lovely paces, he has nice rhythm and balance, and he's also a horse that you can see is with the rider, and beautiful, and look, and the judges would, yeah, I'm sure he will get the, sorry, this is a mare, I'm sorry, but still it's a lovely horse, and it's beautiful, and I did have here a bit of a contact problem maybe, but unfortunately it costs very much when it's so tight in the scores to push yourself up there, so can't miss anything.
I have to say, just hats off to the first of Tim Price's music selections, preparing for impending fatherhood. Baby Price due later this summer, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. First time we've had that in an Event Rider Masters leg.
Well, actually, Nicole, he did it last week on Sekatinka.
Oh, did he?
He did it last week on
Sekatinka.
Sekatinka. However, I think the really interesting one that we're looking at, the difference between last week and this week, is last week on Sekatinka we had a huge start, and then we lost it when we went into the later part of the test. What we have to see here with Ascona M is we actually had a poor start, and we're having to claw back each mark by mark. I think he's done quite well to get it to 45.3, and as he moves into the second part of the test, he's given himself every chance of bringing this back into the sub 40 area.
Yeah, the horse looked not totally relaxed in the extended walk, and also in the transition. I mean, we are speaking about small details here because it's the level is so high. You can't actually miss anything. And now he goes into his canter part of the program, and so far it looks very nice, very established in the contact, nice frame. The horse looks happy under the rider, concentrated. And here he shows a nice canter, well-ridden serpentines, and now he prepares for the flying change that we know has caused some problem, but not for Tim Price. They're very, very nice, and maybe has come up a bit more behind, but still very nice placed, and nothing actually to claim on. So good scores coming in, and he has now about 10 penalties to catch up to be on the top of the scoreboard, and so we need these 8s and maybe some 9s as well.
We need it for our other. We're trying to maintain the Chatsworth record as well, Kiki, of 12 people to go sub 40. It's a big ask, but we need every single one of this final session to be sub. Nicole shaking her head. You don't think they can do it, Nicole? Oh. This is still looking good.
Yeah, still looking good. He got a bit tensed in the second flying change, but still there I think it would not be a very, very low mark. But he did have a beautiful serpentines, canter, and yeah, nice.
It's a bit too many marks to make up at this stage to ask to get them back below the 40 mark. But Ascona M, if we forget about the macro for a moment, Ascona M, still a 9-year-old mare, to be in this atmosphere, to deliver a 40, well, they're coming in a low 40 score. We're waiting for that movement. We're waiting for the marks for the final hold, 44.5, and we still have collectives to come in. It's a very good score that Tim has come in and delivered here.
I'm sure he's quite satisfied with this young mare and what he has. I mean, it was some very expensive mistakes, but I mean, it was small mistakes, and he can easily prepare that for next time. It's absolutely horse for the future. Lovely picture.
So Tim Price and Ascona M, he was 6th with Sekatinka at Barbary just a week ago, and a good horse for the future, Ascona M. But a solid test here. We're waiting for the ground jury to put their final collective marks in, and we'll be able to get that score for you as soon as we can. He's not going to challenge the top of the leaderboard, unlikely to break into the 30s, but still a very, very good score. And we'll be looking forward to seeing Tim in the jumping phases tomorrow. 43.7 into 12th for Tim Price, Ascona M. But let's go down to John and talk to one of the top British hopes here in leg 4 of the Event Rider Masters.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, we've got some great famous names in this final session, and a name you might not be so familiar with. He's the current British under-25 champion. He was a bronze medalist here at Jardy at Young Riders a couple of years ago. Will, you're into 3rd with Livingston on a 38. You must be super pleased.
Yeah, no, I'm really thrilled. It's a PB for us at this level. I think he's got a couple of tests low 40s, but to break that 40 barrier at Freestar is fantastic, and I'm thrilled, yeah.
Now, you know this venue, and I think you know it with this horse. He was your Young Rider horse 2 years ago, is that right?
No, he wasn't actually, unfortunately, but he did win a CIC 1-star here about 3 or 4 years ago, so he's been around before. It probably wouldn't be his ideal course. It's obviously quite twisty here, but we'll see how it goes. As you say, there's another couple of phases to go, so anything can happen, but I'm thrilled with a good start, and we'll see what happens.
And just tell us a little bit about your decision-making in your schedule. I mean, your good horse Colin PT gave you the Brahman win in the under-25s, and now you're here, and only yourself and Cutty have come across, really, to fly the British flag.
Yeah, no, exactly. I had a really good run at Brahman with Colleen. Hopefully she's aiming for Blenheim CCI Freestar for qualifications. So it was a little bit soon after Brahman for her to come here, so I decided to bring Livingstone, who I'm hoping will be a little bit of a run specialist. He'll be a good CIC Freestar horse for me, and he probably won't go any further. So I'm hoping with Colleen she'll go a bit further, and I'll keep Livingstone for the ERMs.
And therefore, have you got in your mind, in the back of your mind, the couple of other legs we might see you at this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get to Blenheim with him. Hopefully I'll have enough points to get in there. Obviously it's the finale, so we'll see. But yeah, fingers crossed I'll get in there as well.
Well, it's great to have you right in the mix. We hope you stay there. And as you say, 2 tests tomorrow. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is a man with a point to prove. Oliver Townend for Great Britain. Cooley Masterclass. He rides this horse for owner Angela Hislop. And he left it late. He didn't get points really in the series until Gatcombe in 2016. He went on to win 2 legs, was 2nd in the series finale to take the inaugural Event Rider Masters series, but he's left himself the same amount of work to do in 2017. He's yet to get any points on the board, so he needs a good performance this weekend in order to retain his title. And he comes here with a very good chance. Cooley Masterclass, a very good horse at this level, actually has had a bit of time off in the last few years, has run twice at this level, at Burnham Market on both occasions, and won both of those. Actually went to Barbary as Oliver's ride last week, 41.6 in the dressage. Clear show jumping. We're in 7th going into the cross country, but Oliver decided to withdraw and save him for a trip here to Jardy for leg 4. So far, so good.
Yeah, Oliver has done a very strong start, and he has, as he always does, delivered a good test. He still has to catch up a bit, but I'm sure we know he's a fighter that never ever gives up. Maybe why they haven't given him the top score, maybe the horse just needs to come off the ground a bit more and come a bit more forward, and has had some small contacts problem here and there that maybe disturbs the whole picture for the judges. But what we know that this is not a dressage competition, so even if Oliver, I hope we see if he's going to go up in the lead or not, we know he's a fighter out on the cross country, and that's what it's about here, I think.
And he's a very good show jumper. He is not going to expect to be down in the lead at the end of the dressage competition. at the end of the dressage phase. He could be, because he has been as low as 33.6 at CIC 3-star level with Cooley Masterclass. That was back in 2014. But what we're looking at here is the beginning of the Oliver Townend Challenge for the Event Rider Masters 2017. The beginning of coming back to defend his crown. He's the most experienced rider in the field. He's the most experienced rider in the world. And what he needs at the moment is to just keep a lid on this, keep it into this 35, 36, 37 area, and he is going to really show his own skills as a rider in the next two phases.
Yeah, he has now coming into his canter part, and we know that he's always strong in the canter part. He's always used to give us good flying changes, and here the horse was a bit good flying change, but after the flying change that is also included, it's did have some small sun resistance as we saw, but luckily the judge they actually didn't really count about that. But there something happens that I think will cost a bit actually.
At the end of the extended canter?
Yeah, in the transition he got quite much resistance in the contact, and so yeah.
And you're right, Kiki, huge moment, because that's pushed him out of the 30s. It could be very, very costly as he was coming down into that corner at the end of the canter. There's his second change.
That was good. That was absolutely nice harmony before, during and under the flying change. I hope they will give him even a bit higher marks here.
Well, actually, at Barbary last week, he was trending in the 30s, and it was his flying changes that dropped the score into the 40s slightly. He'll be looking to nail this final halt, because if he could get a good final halt, some good marks, he could still be challenging to go sub 40. An 8 for that extended canter. Oliver Townend, the series champion in the inaugural Event Rider Masters series in 2016. He needs points on the board this weekend, 9 for his final halt. He's trending at 40. Kiki, do we think that's going to drop into the 30s with the collectives?
Yes, I think so actually, because he did some small mistakes, but still it was a nice test, and even he you know, fixed all these problems, and then he came back again to the high level. So I think he will go drop down into the 30s, yes.
Well, I think he will show a jump clear, so I think he is probably likely, once this goes sub 30, to be in that final grouping going cross country. The real moment here that we've seen, one of the first British riders in, Sarah Cohen-Treason, they lost their marks at the first part of the extended canter. Oliver Townend, the final part of the extended canter, both of them on the first side here on their first extended canter, but it's been a costly move today from a GB side.
Well, we're watching for that score. It's going to be in very shortly. The judges just putting their final collectives in. It'll be the provisional score. We've 4 in the 30s already. Can he go ahead of Cedric Liard at Cadeau de Loire, currently sitting in 5th on a score of 40.0?
Sometimes actually I think Oliver is even better when he's not up in the lead after the dressage, because he's a fighter, so he's actually riding better on the pressure.
39.1. Oliver Townend, Cooley Masterclass, they go 5th, and they are our 5th combination to go into the 30s. That is a huge test in terms of series points, and we'll be looking forward to catching up with Oliver later. But in the meantime, let's go down to John.
Thanks, Nicole. Tim Price, you have just ridden a Skona only at international level for the 2nd time. You're pretty pleased, I think, with the test, but tell me, when you pick up a horse like this, even one that's in your yard, do you know what to expect?
Not at all, and she is a fragile mare. You know, the mares are something that I'm learning more and more. I haven't had many mares, and this one's no exception. She's very sensitive, but she's exceptionally good. So it's about finding that with a little added pressure from the wife. But no, it's been an interesting journey, and we're not at the finished article yet. And I think give us a couple more opportunities, and we'll be there.
Well, your wife is going to give you a couple more opportunities. Olympian Janelle is pregnant, I think, what, about 3 weeks due now?
She's not far away. She looks like she's about to pop, yeah.
Also, just tell me a little bit. You guys, I see you sometimes show jumping nationally in the UK, and every spring you go off and you show jump down in Spain, Portugal, with all your eventers. Why do you choose to do that, and do you think that's now such an important part of the sport?
To get out of the cold climate. No, it's great to get the horses into a regime of just one thing, and I think the show jumping it definitely translates to everything we do, the flat work and the cross country, and just working those muscles, and to do that early in the season under less rugs and less things to keep them warm, because it is warmer down there. Plus we're focused, we can't be interfered or interrupted with, and so I think it's a great start to the year, and we hope to continue doing it.
Well, Tim, I'm sure we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Well done today, and best of luck.
Thanks, John. Cheers.
Well, what can this man do? So Mark Todd for New Zealand, NZB Campino rides this horse for Sir Peter Vela, and Toddy went very, very well to finish on the podium for the first time, finished third at Barbary in leg 3. He's had rotten luck in the Event Rider Masters series so far, and in 4 previous completions before Barbary had never finished with a final score lower than 90. And I mean, that is huge in terms of a man of his experience, but he's broken that duck now, Derm, and he is back for series points here in leg 4.
He's back. We made the point that Oliver Townend's challenge for the 2017 series starts today. Don't forget, it's the best 4 counting scores across the whole series. There's 4 legs to go as of today. So Mark has got a score on the board from that podium finish last time out. This is going to be NZB Campino. So Mark, hugely experienced. Only one rider in the field has more runs at CIC 3-star level. That's the rider before him, Oliver Townend. He's 87 runs at this level. So you're looking at one of the most experienced riders in the world. A double Olympic champion. We've another one of those to come as well, Michael Young. But this man won it with charisma back-to-back in the late 70s. But today he rides Campino, and this is going to be a challenge to make sure this stays sub 40. We were expecting somewhere around 44. Then we saw +3, +4 unexpected, so it's going to be in around that 39 mark is what we're currently expecting. That's where we're currently trending. Enough of the numbers. I'm handing over to Kiki.
Yes, he has done a very strong start. He, as like Andrew Hoy, is very established in the contact, and the horse seems to be very relaxed. He's performing very well, hasn't done any really misses. We know that he's very perfectionist in his riding, and this horse is also a very good and quite safe dressage horse. And now he's coming up on the 7.5 and the 8s on the half pirouettes, and we don't see the walk so well from here, but I know that this horse can walk, so I'm sure he will now climb him up to the 7.5, 8s here. It looks like he did have a bit of kind of just questioning about the transition, but it was just a very quick moment. So now he's prepared for his second half pass, so he collect up the horse, has a nice medium walk, keep the horse moving forward, and oops, there he might got a bit stuck behind one stride.
For a new viewer, Kiki, just very quickly, where was that mark lost? You were saying he got a little bit stuck. He just hesitated, or?
No, when on the way out of the pirouette, I mean, the horses are supposed to lift the hind legs actively the whole time. Okay. They are not supposed to be, stop by with a hoof in the sand and screw around it. And he did that just for one moment, and I'm sure some judges could see it and some maybe not. And here he gave us a nice canter work and a fabulous, nice flying change from this position.
Just see his score after that error in the walk pirouette, just crept up into the 44 kind of area, but it's slowly creeping back down again now. As close as he can get to 40, even sub 40, the happier he will be, because this horse, a very good jumper, came out on the final day at Badminton this year to jump a clear round, finished in 4th place, and very experienced across the country. Numerous 4-star top 10s under his belt. Was actually Toddy's ride at the London Olympics back in 2012.
Yeah, he has so far, it was a nice canter, also the serpentines. The flying change was maybe not as good as the first one. He's stopped up a bit, but still he will be, has the nose, yeah, he got 8, so that was a good flying change, obvious. And he could have a bit more push here maybe, but he will, I think he will go down on the 30s as well, absolutely.
That score is getting lower and lower. What will his final halt mark be? 40.1 at the moment. I think we'll see him go into the 30s. And yes, he is certainly trending into the 30s. 2/8 for that final hole, drops that penalty score sub 40. Will he be another combination to go into the 30s? We've 5 in there so far. Derm, in terms of the series, this could make it 6.
This makes it 6. This is going to match Barbary, which means that the minute we move beyond this, we've got the second best ever field in terms of the scoring, in terms of the dressage scoring. We had 12 first time out in Chatsworth in 2016. That was leg 1, year 1, shall we say, 2016. We haven't seen that dressage match since. I think we're about to see something that comes very close to it today, because Mark Todd and Campino are about to go sub 40. But one thing I would remind you on this pair, hugely strong in the cross-country phase. They're one of the best jumpers in the field. I'd put them up there alongside Sarah Cohn and Treason as jumpers. If this comes up as a jumping competition, these are going to be a pair to watch. They're on the podium last time out. They could well be on the podium again this time.
The Mark Todd and Sir Peter Vela. NZB Campino go 5th, and they actually push Oliver Townend down into 6th. 39.0 for Sir Mark Todd. He's looking for his second podium finish in as many weeks here. But let's go down to John, who is talking to last year's series champion.
Thanks, Nicole. Yes, indeed, here with Oliver Townend. Oliver, with Cooley Masterclass, in spite of an error, still sub 40, so a lot of pleasing work there has to have been in there.
Yeah, he's good at that department, as we've spoken about already several times. He's probably a bit rusty. This is his second run or second dressage test in 3.5 months, but every time he comes out he gets better, so he'll get there at some stage.
He's an exciting horse at this level as well, a double winner at Burnham Market at this same CIC 3-star level. So if you go, you're going to have a cut against the clock, I imagine.
Yeah, look, show jumping we're hoping is going to be tough, and hopefully he'll do what he can do. And yeah, we're still in it for sure. It's close enough, and I hope that we'll, put a good performance in the other 2 phases and go from there.
And of course, now's the time to start if you're going to replicate last year's plan. You started late, but you came through strong to win the series.
Yeah, we could only wish that happens again. Certainly needs to happen again, but no, it was great, fantastic fun last year, and we got there in the end.
Well, it's great to have you here as we come to the continent and France for the first time, Oliver. Well done today.
Thank you very much.
Well, talking of series leaderboard points, this lady is looking to pick up some this weekend. It is Gemma Tattersall for Great Britain with Christopher Stone's Chica Bella P. This horse has been such a star for Gemma. 12 years of age, by Chico's boy, but hasn't always been the easiest. Has had plenty of time off. I know the owners have invested a huge amount of time into getting this mare right, and when she's right, she's so very special. She scored, I think it was a 32 at Houghton last year, went on to win the final British Olympic trial at Bramham at this level, finished on a score of 41. She's quick across the country. She's one of the best show jumpers in the field, and I think this is a horse that Equa Ratings are very excited about.
Absolutely. We don't want to put too much pressure on her because of that time off. She's been off since the last leg of the Event Rider Masters last year at Blenheim from international competition. So we want to make sure we keep the pressure off them, but certainly we would be expecting this to be a dressage podium horse by the end of this evening, or certainly go onto the podium here now. So we have them coming in at somewhere around, I'm going to say about the 35, 36 mark based on everything we've seen. The only thing that we would have to allow for is that they have had that time off. So is there going to be any ring rustiness? So far we haven't seen any at all. Kiki.
She has started up very well, I must say. I mean, it's a beautiful horse and rider, and she is not giving away anything. She's really, looks like she's very happy, and the horse seems to be with the horse, and she getting good marks, good scores, and we saw actually on the walk in the collecting ring that she was a bit tricky, but it looks like that in the arena she actually delivers what she's supposed to do. Here we maybe would like to see a bit more forward in the walk.
Well, we spoke to Gemma Nicole yesterday, and one thing that she tells us about Chico Bella P is that she knows she's a superstar. She knows she's a princess, but when she goes into a ring, which some horses don't always do, they can be very good in the warm-up, as you're alluding to, Kiki. This mare knows when she's in the centre of attention, and she goes in there and delivers. The personal best that she's going to be chasing down came from Houghton Hall in 2016, 32.7. If she can get close to that today, she's going into the lead.
Yeah, she's nearly into the lead. I mean, she's just, oh, come on. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Absolutely, sorry.
This horse's changes would normally be a highlight of her test. So if Gemma can keep everything together in the final part of the test, we'll see that penalty score drop. It just crept slightly with that half pirouette. But Chico Bella P, for owner Chris Stone, who's been a huge part of the Event Rider Masters series. He's the CEO. We heard from him talking to John a little bit earlier on. And Gemma, it is all about series points as well.
Yeah, she has, look at that, very relaxed, nice, well-placed flying change. And so I hope she will get good scores for that. And she gets good scores, and but she still needs now a bit more to go back on the leading board, actually.
She needs a repeat of Chatsworth when she came down her final centre line and got a 10 with Quick Look for her final halt. The only 10 we've ever seen in an Event Rider Masters leg.
That was Quick Look, and it was also a special moment. But again, we have to keep reminding you, while she is so talented, Chico Bella P, she has been off, and it is an achievement to have her here. So let's keep that pressure off to be moving into the podium potential, which I said she was going to be after these 3 tests. That's what she's aiming for. How was that test? How was that change?
Nice. Nice flying change, nice serpentines. She should have maybe not 9 men, but she got 8s, and that's good. Good, very good.
3/8 across the board. Nicole, 36, heading for, I would suggest, 35.5. How's that going to look?
Well, Andrew Hoy, Cheeky Kalimbo, 34.4. Karim Leguag, 34.9 within Tebi de Oos. So she could go 3rd if things continue as it looks. But Chico Bella P, such a superstar for Gemma Tattersall and the Stone family. She absolutely knows she's a star, this mare, and we'll be really looking forward to having her back in the jumping phases tomorrow. That score is going to be around the mid-30s. If she can just let it drop slightly, she can go ahead of Will Furlong at 38.6. He's currently in 3rd. I think Gemma will displace him. And again, series points. She's currently 3rd on the series leaderboard with 50 points. She won leg 1. She missed Wiesbaden, but she comes here from 7th at Barbary with Pamiro 4.
The big one for me, Nicole, is I don't expect Manny to move past her. I am expecting for there to be 30s tests, absolutely. Star Connection, King de Brio, Shannondale, Titan, they can all do it. The only one person that we've got left, we're going to move on to her soon, but there's only one person I think will move past her, and that could be Senor Medicott and Bettina Hoy, which means that Gemma likely to be in the top 5. I would suggest that is good enough now for top 5, but we can't call that yet because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 to go.
36.2 into 3rd for Gemma Tattersall. That is big in terms of the series. Chico Bella P, what a test on her international comeback. We'll hear from Gemma shortly, but let's go down and catch up with John now.
Thanks indeed, Nicole. I'm with Sir Mark Todd, fresh from a podium at Barbary as well, Toddy. But Campino today, you're within 5 points of our current leader, and that is what we're told by the stats is where you need to be.
Yeah, the class hasn't finished yet, but anyway, no, I was quite pleased with him. As he's getting older, he's getting a bit more cunning in the arena, and he knows that you can't do anything in there, and he sort of takes a few liberties. But you know, he went well enough. We're in touch. I believe the show jumping here could be quite strong, and that may help us. And the course looks like it could cause a few problems, so it's not over yet.
He was your Olympic horse at London 2012, but he's also won in this format. He won the Nations Cup at Houghton, so he's quite versatile.
Yeah, no, and as he's got older, he's got better in the jumping phases. He's a joy to ride, really, on the cross country and in the jumping phases. So, you know, he is pretty versatile. He's very experienced. So, touch wood, we'll be okay.
Well, you've had plenty of luck in the past. We hope you have lots more this weekend, Toddy. See you tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
Well, this next test is a big one for the Event Rider Masters series because the world #1 makes his ERM debut, and it is Michael Young for Germany with Star Connection. We've just spoken to Mark Todd, who was the first person to win 2 back-to-back Olympic titles. Michael Young is the second, and he did something nobody else has done. He finished on his dressage score at both London 2012 and Rio 2016. He comes forward with Star Connection, a horse that doesn't have a huge amount of exposure at this level, but has been placed at Wiesbaden. Also second was the reserve German national champion behind Bettina Hoy and Senior Medicott at Le Moulin a little bit earlier on this year. So this is a big test for Michael Young, Star Connection for Germany.
Well, Nicole, I don't get many opportunities to tell you about Michael Young's stats, but this is his 70th CIC 3-star. He already has 22 wins from those 70, so a 32% win rate at CIC 3-star level. He's been in the top 5 on 54 occasions, 78%. He has jumped clear 68 of the 69 times. He's been inside the time 25. He is a machine, and it's a huge excitement to welcome him to the Event Rider Masters. He's here on Star Connection. It's a horse not massively experienced at the level, Nicole. He was 1 star, he did 1 2-star, and he's done 2 3-stars.
So far he hasn't given us any, he has lived up to his name and has done a very strong start. And even if he doesn't always have the horses with the best paces, he always delivered the perfectionist that we want to see, and it's you can really see that he's doing everything absolutely by the book. So far he has just nearly got up to the lead, and he has just started in the test. So what we see here, he is very always good balance, seated in the saddle, always nice connection with his horse in the contact with the mouth, and always the frame is high, open and nice. I also know that, I don't know if he specifically training with this Jürgen Kutscher, who is now joining the German team because of Chris Bartle went back to England. So, and that's a very, very good dressage trainer, so they will not getting worse, the Germans.
No. Well, they continue to improve, but they're improving from a very high base. As a rider, as you mentioned, Nicole, you're looking at the double Olympic champion. You're looking at a man who has won the last 3 European championships on 3 different horses. He's coming to Stragom on another horse. That horse is going to be Fisher Rockana. She has already won 3 4-stars. So we can expect her to be hot favourite for the Europeans. But back to Star Connection. Star Connection last time out at Le Moulin, 35.6. To give you a little indication of the form in the same competition, one of the other German riders who's still to come, Bettina Hoy, 26.4 that day for Bettina on the same day. So she was 9 marks ahead of Michael at Le Moulin. Will she be 9 marks ahead of Michael today?
She's going to have to put in a very, very strong test because 34.8, he's not a million miles off our leader, Andrew Hoy, for Australia. We're yet to have a German winner of an Event Rider Masters leg. We thought when we went to Wiesbaden, Ingrid Klimke was going to pull it off, but actually that win went to Sarah Cohen-Treason. Will Michael Young win on French soil instead?
Yeah, he has now started his canter work, and so far so good. Maybe the horse getting a bit higher in his neck, and looks like he could, at that flying change, maybe he could come off the ground a bit more. It was clean, but would show a bit more impression in the off the ground. And the thing is, but whatever you put him on, he's always. We also know that he's the strongest cross-country rider, so even if he's not going up on the lead here, he still will not give up as Oliver Townend. Okay, so here we have a quite nice extended canter. We still wants to have the horse a bit more forward and off the ground. But nice, good balance, well-ridden serpentines, and a very nice flying chain. Looks very easy, no problem at all.
Well, Star Connection is currently trending a personal best area, a 3-star level. He's only done 2, but his best is a 35.6. That came at Lamulin. Hope for everybody else out there. He does get time penalties on Star Connection when it gets tough. He has had poles down on Star Connection when it gets tough. He is beatable. Is he going to be beatable today? He's not going to move into the lead. 36.4 Nicole before those collectives, before that final halt movement comes in as well.
Well, making his Event Rider Masters debut, the world #1, Michael Young with Star Connection for Germany. He's trending around the mid-30s. He is going to be horse number 8 to make it into a sub-40 dressage. We've still got 3 more combinations to go. All 3 of them are capable of scoring in the 30s as well. But Michael Young and Star Connection, the horse is just so relaxed, isn't he, Kiki? He just head down, off he goes.
He's very relaxed, and I didn't actually see what he did for the last flying change. We saw that we have different scores, but from our point of view, it looked like, I mean, clean, but obvious. Maybe it was not. That will be very interesting to see actually what happened.
So Michael Young and Star Connection. They are the reserve German national champions. Had a 35 dressage on that occasion. He's going to be nip and tuck as to whether he can beat that here. But the man himself needs very, very little introduction. He's so experienced, as Derm was saying, going to the European Championships with the hope of making it 4 European titles. He dominated the sport in the last 8 years or so. Celebrated his 30th birthday by winning Olympic gold in London into 3rd, 35.7. That's a very good starting score. And, well, you wouldn't write them off in the jumping phases. Michael Young for Germany with Star Connection. But let's go down to John, who is talking to Gemma Tattersall.
Thanks, Nicole. Yes, seeing so many changes inside our top 5 at the moment. Gemma, you've just been pipped by none other than Mickey Young, but I think you're still top 5 and a really nice score there with Chicabella.
Yeah, listen, I'm just so happy to have her at an event. She's such a special horse. You know, really happy for her owners, Chris and Lisa Stone, that are here watching her. She means so much to us. It's just lovely to have her here, and to produce a good score is you know, really, really happy with that.
And tell us about the test today. How did it ride for you? What were your positives? What were your highlights?
She's just a lovely horse to ride. She moves so beautifully, and the highlights are definitely the medium and extended trots and the extended canter. She has the most enormous paces, so yeah, they're the highlights. So she's just a wonderful horse to ride.
And some of that then obviously translates, you know, big paces, big cross-country horse. You know, you won at Bramham, which is actually your last time out just over 12 months ago. So you must come into this feeling good about riding those Michelet distances.
Absolutely. This course suits her down to the ground, flat. She likes the flat, and super open forward distances. It really suits her.
And, you know, what is your confidence level? Because you've won a leg now. You're one of only 4 riders here with us at Jardy who's done that, and you could be the first to win on 2 different horses. How good does Gemma Tattersall feel?
I feel really good. You know, I feel confident in my riding. I'm confident in my horse. She's, like I say, she is the most wonderful horse to ride. She's a seriously good jumper. I can trust her to travel and jump and gallop. You know, we haven't been out for a long time, so we might be a bit ring rusty, but, you know, hey, we're just going to go out there and give us the best shot.
It's all about the partnership. We can't ask for more than that. Gemma, well done today. Best of luck tomorrow.
John, thanks.
Well, this is a combination that I have to admit are one of my favourites. King de Brio, Thibaut Villette, who took the individual bronze medal at the European Championships at Blair Castle a couple of years ago, were part of the gold medal winning team in Rio last year as well. Completed badminton this year. And Thibaut Villette, we were talking Derm a second ago. Michael Young has won 22 3-stars. In terms of international runs in his career, and this stat fascinates me, Thibaut Villette has only done a few more than that. I think he's done 33, 34 international runs in his whole career.
You're right, Nicole. It's incredible. I mean, for such a low amount of international runs across every level, Thibaut Villette, when you think of the honours he's won, Nicole, all the way up to Olympic, he's achieved such a huge amount. From his 5 CIC 3-star levels, he's yet to win at the level, but he's 2 top 5s. His average is 43.9, and King de Brio, his main horse at this level, is also is the same score. Neither have been to Jardy before, which is quite unusual for the French riders at home. So it's as new to him as it is to many of the Europeans. But Kiki, what a start!
Yeah, I'm just sitting here and smiling. It's absolutely very, very nice start of this test, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keep on like this, that he will be up and touching Hoy, and maybe even can go in front of Hoy, because this horse has a fantastic canter work. And he also looks very relaxed, and just looks like it's a training. It's not really competing. It's absolutely very nice and with the rider.
They've been on an Event Rider Masters podium before. They were second at Chatsworth last year. That was when the French took all 3 places on the podium, actually 4 of the top 5 spots as well. We've just spoken to the lady that was 4th. That was Gemma Tattersall.
We saw a very nice half pirouette there. The horse was connected, and then straight out, and a nice proceed into the canter. It looks like, though, that sometimes he has a bit problem that the horse is getting a bit short. You can see him sitting with his hands to try to open up the horse a bit. But he does it in a very, very smooth, easy way, so might not affect the... Oops, yeah, it was a nice flying change. Could it show more front legs?
Well, King de Brio is moving into the personal best area, and what a time to deliver it. 35.2 at Fontainebleau in 2015 is the best test they've done at CIC 3-star level. It's the best test they've done at international level as a combination. So 35.2 is what they're chasing down for a personal best score, and they're not far off it, Kiki, and there's still more to come.
Yeah, I think he will not make us disappointed, and the horse looks very steady, established in the contact. Maybe just, you know, he's getting a bit short, and the flying change was okay, but still we would like to see more off the ground. He is dipping a bit with his head, that we can see here. But what we know about this horse is that he's a fabulous also cross-country horse, and he's fast.